station. Just search Onside Radio. Listen to us on the go. Listen to us in the car. Listen to us everywhere. You can also podcast all the shows. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Pod. So anything you miss, because you may not be able to listen for 11 hours a day on weekdays and throughout weekends as well. We've got awesome shows throughout the weekends here on Onside Radio. And I highly recommend for the live shows and for the replays, but especially live, if you can, if you're not in the car or something, if you're stationary somewhere, home or in the office or the home office, to watch us streaming live on YouTube. Go to YouTube or youtube.com, search Onside Radio. When a show is streaming live, you'll see it in red live now. And, not that I'm much to look at, although I am decked out in Internazionale gear today. I've got my third kit for this year on. Romelu Lukaku on the back, my dude, my son's favorite player. But it's not just about looking into our beautiful studios and looking at my beautiful face, but what makes the YouTube stream so much fun is the live chat feature. I'm very active on there, even during the shows. Multitasking is the name of the game. You guys can not only chat with me, send me messages. I read them sometimes on the air. I respond to them off the air. But you can also chat with each other. It becomes a community. So it's a lot of fun. We have fun with it, on this show for 3 hours a day, on the station, 11 hours a day. So make sure you check us out on YouTube as well. And if you want to get in touch with us the old-fashioned way, the text line is always open. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. It's a really, really nice day here in South Florida. I've heard people from the northern part of the United States complaining about how cold it is, like in the New York area, the Midwest.
Sucks to suck.
Seriously. I didn't even step foot outside of my house, Tito, till like 11 a.m. this morning, but I heard it was kind of cool today in the morning. But by the time I left the house, it was like 72 degrees.
Nice little brisk 60 degrees. Nothing crazy, but okay. Enjoyable,
But today is perfect. Perfect. There's just a few clouds in the sky. I see the Fort Lauderdale skyline kissing the horizon off in the distance. And then, of course, here inside Inter Miami CF Stadium, we're just 2 weeks and 2 days away from opening up the Major League Soccer season for Inter Miami on the 18th. They got the home opener. The season opener is their home opener against LA Galaxy. So I'm inside the stadium looking at the pink, black, gray, and white seats, which are calling my name. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful sight to behold. This is a great Friday. The weekend does not officially start until 7 o'clock tonight when Michael Christian signs off at the end of game night. We'll help bring in the weekend for you guys. I always love doing a show on a Friday the day after you get dubs from the Florida Panthers last night and from the Miami Heat. I know my Marlins didn't get it done yesterday. Can we give Sandy Alcantara a little run support? Jesus! The baseball season is not going to officially start for me until the Miami Marlins score a run. I mean, you got beautiful pitching yesterday, but you couldn't get the hitting going. I mean, a guy that we work with here in the stadium told me a couple weeks ago he was betting his pension on the Miami Marlins to win a World Series. I know it's just one game out of 162. One game out of 162, but I hope he's okay. Before we get to the Miami Heat and the Oladipo debut, I want to throw some love to the Florida Panthers. Another victory for the Panthers. They get it done in overtime. The clutch Cats, the cardiac Cats, 3-2 in the OT against Detroit. My friends, this was another game without the likes of Sasha Barkov. He should be back by the weekend. Same with Patrick Hornquist, should be back for the weekend. Of course, another game without Ekblad, who's going to be out for a long time, and Anthony Duclair, who hurt himself in the last game. He's going to be out for at least another week. And despite being without so many important players and having your quote-unquote second goalie out there, we know who is excellent, Chris Drieger. I mean, it's, at times he's had stretches where he's been, better than Sergei Bobrovsky. Donno, how dare you say that about me? You talk a lot of shit. It's Chris Drieger. I don't know if he's he doesn't make $7 million a year like Sergei Bobrovsky make. I'm sorry, Bob. I apologize. But Drieger has been very good, and he was very good yesterday. And so despite all the important players that you've had out of the lineup where the injury bug, unfortunately, has caught up with the Florida Panthers. they're still churning out wins. Carter Verhaeghe, excellent yesterday, assisted both of Florida's goals in regulation. The first one especially was absolutely beautiful. The nifty move behind the net, flipped it in front to Noah Acciari. That was especially nice. He also assisted the Frank Vetrano goal. And Frank Vetrano, Frank the Tank, he is clutch. Vetrano always has the knack for scoring big goals, right? Whenever you're looking through Panthers box scores and you're looking through memories from earlier on this season, every time there's been a big goal needed in the third period or in overtime, you're talking about a crucial game-tying goal, a game-winning goal in the third period, Frank Vetrano is almost always behind goals like that. The guy has a knack for scoring massive clutch goals. He scored the game-tying goal in the third period to send the game to overtime. It was Alex Wenberg who came up big with the walk-off goal in the OT. You know, Tito, something I think is worth pointing out here. When I look at the National Hockey League standings, cold weather cities are finished. I mean, we were talking today about how it was like a brisk 60 degrees, you know, this morning in South Florida, and it's like, you know, in the negatives probably in New York City, in the Northeast. You know, cold weather cities are finished because I look at the standings here in the National Hockey League. The top two teams in the NHL are in the state of Florida. We don't even have ice here. Canada should be embarrassed. Cities like Detroit.
This isn't even our element, and we're dominating.
I mean, it would be as if, like, the greatest surfer in the world came from Minneapolis. Like, what is going on here? They don't have waves there. So the greatest hockey teams in the world come from the state of Florida. Cold weather cities are in the mud. Cities like Detroit, Chicago, Minneapolis, Buffalo, Boston, they should all be embarrassed. The Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning sit tied atop the entire National Hockey League with their 52 points. So, and of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning already have the amazing hockey pedigree of being Stanley Cup champs. They're the defending Stanley Cup champs, and now the Panthers are having just a wonderful, wonderful year. And it's really, really nice to see that the center of the hockey universe right now is residing in the state of Florida. And that ties in perfectly to today's roundtable discussion. I hope you guys are following the roundtable and you're sending it to your friends and you're listening to them. So we do something unique here on OnSideRadio.com. You know, all the shows during the weekdays where we start with Toast and Marsh on 4th and 20 from 8 to 10 in the morning. Then we have Kai Chen Chisholm, Mr. KCC, hosting Kai's Corner from 10 to noon. Big O, noon to 3 with the Onside Zone. I've got Man of the Match every day, noon to 3. Michael Christian has Game Night 6 to 7. We all comment on a hot button topic every single day, and at the end of the day, Alex Aguirre makes a master cut of our commentary on that issue, and he churns out a segment we call the Daily Roundtable. So if you go to our podcast, you can download and listen to the Roundtable every day where all of us weigh in on a certain issue. And today's Roundtable question is, are the Florida Panthers getting the kind of coverage they deserve? Do you feel that the media, fans, and social media are giving the team the support they deserve when you consider they're tied with the Tampa Bay Lightning now with 52 points for the best record, the best point total in the entire NHL? Are they getting the coverage that they deserve? No. Is it getting better? Yes. I mean, Tito, have you noticed the same thing that I have where, because, you know, you and I, we run in pretty similar circles on the social media sphere. We probably have a lot of people we follow in common, people who follow us in common. And, you know, South Florida sports fans who are not necessarily longtime or lifetime hockey fans, more than ever, at least more than in recent years, are taking notice of what the Panthers are doing. So I can't say that I can't say it's not getting better, all right? And as far as the coverage goes, I'll give you an example from a very good friend of our show who joins us, you know, once a week or once every couple of weeks usually, Jeremy Taché from Bally Sports Florida, who does social media content for them, digital media content for them. he gives the Panthers a ton of good coverage on his Breakfast at Jeremy's feature and some of the other stuff he does. And listen, Jeremy has admitted to us before, and we have him on to talk Panthers and Heat, and we're going to have him on to talk Marlins throughout the season. You know, he's not a lifetime hockey fan. Like, he's somebody who, you know, has become a hockey fan in recent years. He covers the team. It's part of his job, but he does enjoy it, and he's coming around. So somebody like that churning out coverage. I mean, naturally, when the team is good and the team is winning, you're going to get more coverage from the local TV stations as well, and I see that happening. So, yeah, they deserve more coverage and more extensive coverage, the Panthers, but I can't say that the coverage is not improving. And I think something people are starting to realize is, you know, this is a 56-game regular season in the National Hockey League this year. So it's an abbreviated season due to COVID, but it's a 56-game season. And like Tito, I've seen people throughout the years and even at the start of this year say, okay, well, the Panthers had a really good start, but I've seen this happen before. They're going to screw up. They're not going to sustain it. They're now 37 games into a 56-game regular season, and they are essentially shoo-ins for a playoff berth. It's not a question of getting into the playoffs. It's a question of, can they win their division, which is very competitive at the top between the Panthers, Tampa Bay, and Carolina. So, Tito, I think people are starting to realize they can no longer use the narrative of, well, I've been fooled by great starts before, because this is no longer a great start. They're like 2/3 through the regular season, and they're still humming.
Yeah, they have passed the typical point of collapse where the Panthers either fall into their normal trap of, you know, kind of having that downtrodden, sloping, crappy second half of the season. This team seems like a legit playoff threat and contender and worthy of South Florida's attention. Now, in terms of the coverage question, I feel like, you know, you elaborated it perfectly. The coverage is improving, it's getting better, and it's because they are winning more. And
right.
Naturally, with winning comes more coverage. But it is important to point out the teams that they are competing with. Now, I'm not going to mention the Marlins because the Marlins are the Marlins, and they've been, you know, in the corner for a while now, and we're going to keep them there. We're going to acknowledge them, but we're going to keep them there until they show something. Obviously, last year making the playoffs and, like you said, an abbreviated season was nice, but now it's let's see if it takes on a real test.
Yep.
The Heat are coming off of a finals run, right? And they're coming off of an offseason where they were rumored to be connected with two of the biggest names in NBA currently, Giannis Antetokounmpo and James Harden. They might be rumored with a third this upcoming offseason in Kawhi Leonard. So, naturally, the Heat are going to get a lot of coverage. The Miami Dolphins just drafted what they hope is their franchise quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa and just had their first double-digit win season since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's, you know, someone's going to lose out in this coverage battle. And up until now, it's been the Panthers.
Yeah.
And so I'm with you. I think it's improving. It's getting better. And it's because, like you said, they are showing that they're a legitimate team. And I think for the normal South Florida sports fan, it's kind of show me something, right? Like don't tell me, show me something. And we're so accustomed to, you know, the other shoe falling off with the Panthers. When they get into these playoff series now, they have a chance to garner that equity from the South Florida fan base. If they can win a series, make a Stanley Cup run, right? Like, that's where you get an improved and more appreciative fan base.
You're right. You're hitting it on the head there. In order to get the coverage they deserve, because I don't believe they're getting quite the coverage they deserve right now, but you have to earn it. You have to build equity among the local media and the fans. And the only way to really earn that equity is to show people you can make deep playoff runs. So they have to do that. I think they have the team to do it. They have the coach to do it because Joel Quenneville is one of the best in that craft right now. So you can understand for a team that has not won a playoff series since 1996, you can understand why, in addition to not being a traditional hockey market, in not having won playoff series since 1996, you can understand why that franchise does not have the equity amongst the casual fans. And the coverage is getting better. The buzz is getting better around town and around the area. But the only way for the coverage to really match the level that the team is playing at is I'm not saying you have to win the Stanley Cup this year, but you have to make a run in the playoffs because that's something you haven't done in way, way, way too long. So it's going to get there. 3:45, we're going to talk gambling. We're going to get our best bets for the weekend from Lee Sterling, who crushed it last week. I cannot emphasize this enough. He made everyone money last week, was 6-0 on the picks that he made on the show.
We may have taken the Marlins money line yesterday, but Donno and I have specifically laid off our bets.
Yeah.
Because we're waiting for Lee to give us
Right.
another great batch.
I made sure I didn't blow my wad yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I was the most prudent bettor this week ever. and trust me, it was difficult.
I needed to save my money for another Sterling weekend because he's going to help me climb out of that hole. Omar Kelly is going to join us for Dolphins Talk and NFL Draft Talk in the 4 o'clock hour. 5 o'clock hour is going to be jammed. Frank Crivello is going to join us for some soccer talk at 5 p.m., 5:20. Mark Moses, radio host in Central Florida, is going to join us to talk some NFL. And he's an Orlando City supporter, so we can talk a little trash with him since we're Inter Miami all the way down here. I want to tackle our Foodie Friday debate, though, when we come back. You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. We are OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Listen to OnsideRadio.com anywhere by downloading the MyTuner Radio app in your app store. Or go to MyTunerRadio.com on your web browser. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida sports leader.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans. Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental disorder that requires a comprehensive approach to treatment. Learn more at moretoadhd.com. This message brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, welcome back in to Man of the Match here on Onside Radio. So you like? Are you bitter? Are you happy that I devoted the opening segment to the Florida Panthers and not the Miami Heat? Well, I mean, The Culture Club taking it. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm Frank Isola. I love the Miami Heat. I don't know, man. I wanted to give some love to the Panthers because they're missing so many important players, and they still got it done for their 4th straight win. The Heat got their 3rd straight win. It wasn't that smooth of an offensive performance for Victor Oladipo, but he had some moments on both ends of the floor, and I loved watching him dunk yesterday. I loved watching him hit a couple of big shots. And so, yeah, the Heat getting another victory over the Golden State Warriors. Here's something funny, Tito. I was at my parents' house last night, and I was watching the game with my dad, who's a very casual NBA fan. Like, I would not call my father an expert on the NBA by any stretch of the imagination.
Hey, you got to be careful, man. Nowadays on Twitter, calling a person a casual is like a way of insulting
Is
them.
it? Well, he's not on Twitter, so he doesn't care.
It's like if you like throw, like for example, like let's say something like, oh, like Kendrick Nunn's a good defender. Twitter, oh, you're a casual. They call you out right away.
So, but let me explain, okay? Because I'm watching this game with my father, and like the Golden State Warriors, they have this pretty good player named Steph Curry. Can we agree that he's decent, okay? And Steph in the loss scored 36 points, but there were a couple of spots in the game where Steph was getting a little hot, hitting. He had a really bad start to the game, but then he got a little hot, was hitting threes. And then my dad was looking at the TV, he's like, "Why do we keep letting this guy hit threes?" And I look at him like, "Do you know who that is?" He's like, "No, who is that punk?" Like, it's only one of the best guards in NBA history. It's Steph Curry. So he had heard of Steph Curry, but I guess like Steph's hair is a little different, Tito, than it was like during Golden State's championship runs. So like my father is watching Steph Curry get hot and score 36 points in the game. He had no idea that he was watching, a future first ballot Hall of Fame player. Like he just thought, "Oh, who is
this
this
water bug player just jacking up threes?"
Like who's this scruffy looking, small, skinny guy who we keep jacking up threes?" So I had to remind my dad that that's Steph Curry and he could still play. Oh man, it's a Friday and it's a foodie Friday. So. Tito, you were reposting and commenting on this, but I don't think you actually gave your opinion on which of these you would eliminate from the list. Food Network on Twitter has gotten they've created some conversation today on French fries. So Food Network tweets out, "Eliminate a French fry shape forever. Which of these 4 do you eliminate? Do you eliminate classic?" Which, like, for someone who asked me what does classic French fry mean, I would say think of McDonald's fries. Like, that style. That would be classic. So you eliminate one of these 4 fry shapes forever. Classic, crinkle cut, curly, or waffle. And honestly, Tito, out of those 4, very simple answer for me. I eliminate crinkle cut. I don't see the appeal whatsoever. Like they're always too thick, and so the ratio of crispy outside to soft inside is always way off. Like for me, like the ratio on classic fries is perfect because they're thin enough that you get the good crispy outside and there's a little bit of the soft potato inside. Crinkle cut to me, throw them right in the trash. Curly, obviously there's a margin for error with curly because some people make them better than others. I think curly fries can absolutely be elite as long as they're not like overdone and dry. Curly fries, like I like the ones at Flanagan's. Those can be really
so
awesome.
good.
Oh, they're so good. Like curly fries are awesome. And I'm not that big of a fan on waffle. I think waffle are a little bit overrated. I think people just love them because they look more fun. Like, I'm not as big a fan of waffle on some people, but out of those 4, it's so easy for me. I get rid of crinkle, and I don't think twice about it. Crinkle cut have got to go. What do you think?
I'm with you. I'm less of a hater on crinkle cut than anybody else, though. I enjoy them. Like, one of my I live near a Shake Shack, so, like, Shake Shack obviously very normal for crinkle cut fries, so I like them. I don't see the appeal. My comment that I made was that, like, they were smart not to include steak fries on this one's gotta go poll because like steak fries are like bottom tier.
They're terrible.
Okay? They're not good.
It goes into the problem I described because the ratio of crispy outside to soft inside is way off because they're too thick.
Right.
They're too thick.
You don't know where like the sweet part of the fry is, right? Like where's the good part of this French fry? There is none.
None.
because it's just like this cinder block of potato, and it's not even like salted correctly sometimes. So yeah, I said they were smart to leave off steak fries. I saw some people putting waffle fries. No. All right, waffle fries are amazing.
You know, I don't think they're like if I had to eliminate a second shape, I think waffle fry
Really?
would be my
Ahead
next
of
to go.
curly?
Ahead
mean,
of curly, I
are
love
pretty
curly.
damn- yeah,
Curly are
pretty damn
so good.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I like when you get like that big waffle fry.
Waffle
because
fries
that means
are
it's like
they're better
roughly
for
2 bites.
They're better for dipping.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Like it's a good dip because it almost creates like it's like the basically outside of the holes in the middle. It's like the shape of a potato chip. So there's just more surface area for dipping. But if you give me a waffle fry without any dipping sauce, like I can't eat it. Like curly fries, I can eat plain.
Well, I had
McDonald's fries, I can eat plain. I can't eat a waffle fry plain.
I had somebody tell me on Twitter. They said something, steak fries drenched in steak juice. You ain't living right, son. You're basically saying that you need another food, the excess of another food, to make the steak fry good.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make it a good fry then, right? Like, I just don't understand. Why are steak fries the most optimal fries to pair with a steak?
No, steak fries, they've got the best PR department. Because
right.
Here's what steak fries have managed to do. They have created a narrative that these are like the classiest, bougiest fries. And that if you're enjoying like a nice meal and you're paying like $40-$50 for a plate of food, that steak fries would be the fanciest type that can accompany some other sort of food. And I think it's nonsense. Like, why can't I eat a steak with original cut fries or curly fries? Like, how is that any different than steak fries? It's just better. And the whole argument about soaking up the steak grease or the steak juice, that can apply to any fry, Tito. It's like I cannot. I've had some really good meals at La Granja. Have you ever been to La Granja?
I actually have not.
It's pretty good. It's kind of certain things are kind of expensive for fast food, but it's pretty damn good. And I've had the lomo saltado and like the chicken saltado from La Granja. Where
now
they
you're
give
talking, Donno. Lomo saltado is amazing.
So you get a lomo saltado because it's got all that like juice in there, and you get the lomo saltado, and they give you it's carb city because you get like you get a side of rice and French fries in the same plate. So it's giving me all the carbs, bro. But since there's so much like juice and sauce that comes off the lomo saltado, it like soaks up in the French fries, and it's so delicious. And those are not steak fries, right? Those are original cut fries,
right?
And they're freaking awesome. So it doesn't have to be steak fries to soak up the juice. I think that's a myth. Steak fries just have a great PR department, but I'm here to expose them.
It's like steak fries are the Carson Wentz of French fries, right? Like, you keep hearing these great things. It's like, oh, they're so good, they're so amazing, so fluffy. But when you get down to it, they haven't done much, really. I mean, they just haven't done much. Not in my book, just saying.
You're right. I mean, imagine if you go to like fast food places never serve steak fries. It's like you throw them back in their face. Oh man, Ray says, okay, I'm hungry now. Lomo saltado, he loves that talk. Andy from Scotland. We always appreciate Andy listening from across the pond. He says, crinkle cut fries or chunky fries, just no. I'm with him. Oh, how about Tito? Were you aware of this? Rafa in Miami. This is off topic completely, but it's probably a more important topic for this show because it's going back to sports here. Rafa in Miami says, so Penei Sewell has T-Rex arms, he says.
What a surprise.
33 1/4 inch arm length. So he's Godzilla.
Yeah,
he's the 3/4 bottle of limoncello.
He is a limited fighter with a big lower base.
I did not know that about Penei Sewell. I mean, wouldn't you think it's pretty important for an offensive tackle to have long arms? Like, isn't that kind of important when you're blocking, especially on the outside of the line, to have long? I mean, maybe you can be like a center with short arms or a guard with short arms because you've got somebody next to you. But, if you're a left tackle and your left arm is short, they're breezing right around you.
Some jackass today on Twitter with a verified sticker decided to tweet out the hit rate on first-round draft picks, and offensive tackle was second. And I cannot attest to the number of people that were tagging me, and I just want to say you're all awful people, okay? All of you.
By the way, Jimmy Shore is in the YouTube chat. He writes, I eat Taco Bell almost every day. My waistline is 48 inches. Congratulations. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Want to give some reaction to the Miami Heat's victory last night. Also, man, Dan Orlovsky is still getting trashed for doing his job, and I feel kind of bad for the guy. And remember, later this hour, we're going to talk with Lee Sterling. We're going to get our bets from Sterling. We're going to have Omar Kelly on next hour, busy 5 o'clock hour as well. This is your home for Miami Dolphins fans all over the world. We are OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Listen to every Inter-Miami CF match on your home for La Rosa Negra, OnsideRadio.com. Catch us every day on the MyTuner Radio app. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
She's kind of young, so I don't know. She may not be into Van Halen much. Let's see. Hey, Ruthie, good afternoon. Are you a Van Halen fan?
You know, I just had to Google Van Halen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just literally have it on my computer right now.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnsideRadio.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Miami Heat picking up the W last night. They defeated the Golden State Warriors 116-109. Jimmy Butler went down for 22 points. Bam Adebayo with 19. Duncan Robinson with 21. The Heat get the day off before they host the Cleveland Cavaliers at the arena on Saturday night. Tip-off is slated for 8 p.m. Florida Panthers grinded out an overtime victory over the Red Wings last night, 3-2. Panthers remain top tied of the Central Division with Tampa Bay at 52 points. The Panthers also get a night off before they take on the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday at 7 p.m. Panthers going as the betting favorite there. And the Marlins took an opening day loss to the Rays yesterday, 1-0. They get a chance at revenge tonight. Marlins have Pablo Lopez on the mound. First pitch is set for 7:10 p.m. For their Onside Sports Update, I'm Tito Bonacci. Coming up next, it's more of Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here, OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the old school when it comes to NBA basketball because I'm such a Pat Riley fanboy. I enjoyed even low-scoring, hard knocks playoff series between the Heat and Knicks in the late 90s. Some of those scores were really ugly, like in the 80s and in the 70s. But I'm also a firm believer that come playoff time, defense gets magnified. The regular season, it's a track meet. In the regular season, it's about, like, who can hit 125 points first is probably going to win the game. I look now at this Heat lineup, and we see Bam Adebayo, who is able to defend multiple positions. He's a center who's able to guard guards, okay? Trevor Ariza was acquired for his defense, for his 3-and-D. Jimmy Butler, one of the best defensive players in the league. You've added Victor Oladipo to this equation. You have Andre Iguodala, able to provide some defensive closing minutes for this team, and he also tends to get hot offensively when it matters most. So the big thing for me is this is a dream for me, this lineup and the defensive flexibility that the Miami Heat have. I understand why this team would not be favored in the playoffs over the likes of Brooklyn or, Philadelphia. I always like our chances against Milwaukee because the Heat tend to defend Giannis Antetokounmpo better than most teams out there do. But I really think Pat Riley has done an admirable job building a team that no one is going to want to face in the postseason. And offensively, it was a quiet debut for Oladipo yesterday. 2 for 8 shooting, ends up with 6 points. It was great to see him score that fast break dunk. That was his first field goal in a Heat uniform. That's always a nice way to introduce yourself to the fans. I'm loving the defensive versatility and flexibility of this lineup. What do you think, Tito, and what did you make of the Oladipo debut last night?
So I thought he was a little unsettled. Like, it clearly looked like he was trying to do too much, and he was a little unselfish, and then he got a little over-aggressive defensively. But I got to say, man, that starting lineup we came out with, which was Depot, Duncan, Jimmy, Ariza, and Bam, the length and the switching that lineup has, man, it is scary what that lineup can do. Now, let's just play this game, right? Like, if let's say you don't trust, I guess you don't trust Ariza because he's just kind of coming off of a overstayed, you swap out Ariza for Iggy and you're still talking about 4 guys who can inflict fear in ball handlers. And there's Cooper Moorhead, who writes for the Miami Heat and NBA.com. He did a tremendous little kind of a clip on Twitter where there's legitimately 4 guys that you don't want to switch on to as a ball handler there.
That's right. I did see that. That was
so
good.
Right. And I think that's where you're saying the Miami Heat basketball way is kind of about that, right? Like, there's really no creases or wounds that you can attack the Heat through. Obviously Duncan still is a defensive liability, but when you can hide him with 4 defensive plus guys like Ariza, Butler, Oladipo, Iggy, Jimmy, Bam Adebayo, you're talking about giving some offensive fits.
We're going to roll out the red carpet for our next guest. This man has been making us money. Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com is going to give us our weekend picks when we come back. We would like to thank A Shade Above Windows Fashions in Davie. You can call them at 954-434-4774. A Shade Above teamed up with Bandalux to personalize and create our new shade here at Onside Radio in the beautiful pink and black. It looks so good. To order protection with style for your home or office like we did, call A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. Go to their website, ashadeaboveflorida.com. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
At Baptist Health, we are ready
to serve, to treat,
to safely proceed with your procedure.
We're ready for ER visits and office visits
with skilled surgeons,
advanced medicine,
and multidisciplinary teams.
We're ready for new arrivals
and new recoveries.
We are ready.
We're ready to diagnose, treat, and manage
anything that comes our way
with exceptional care and comfort.
With the same preparedness and compassion you've come to expect from Baptist Health.
And we are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready
to care for you.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger.
He was a captain and Ginger. Captain and Ginger. He was a captain and Ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnsideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Last week, our next guest gave us 5 picks plus a bonus pick, and he went 6-0. Now, let me just contrast that with the day that I had yesterday without getting any advice from our next guest. Yesterday, I bet on 2 baseball games and 3 hockey games, and I went 0 for 5. So last weekend, I went 6-0 with Lee Sterling. Yesterday, I went 0-5 with Donno. So I need Lee Sterling's picks back in my life. From ParamountSports.com, that's his website. He does a fantastic job. Lee, thank you for a big week last week, my friend. And you've had a lot of these in recent months. You've had some great weeks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, and it's hard to do both. Let's be honest. So I don't expect you to go 1-5 again, and I don't expect me to go 6-0. But I'm going to give you 5 selections. I'll take a 4-1 or even a 3-2.
I love it. All right, so let's get into it, Lee. What do you like this week? Because we don't have any Heat action tonight. We got that out of the way last night. So what do you like this weekend?
So let me guess. Did you play the the Marlins game last night?
I did. Now this
Right.
is a bit of a homer pick. I just felt, opening day, I was in the spirit
Yeah.
of the Marlins. I thought, let me go Marlins money line plus 132, and they couldn't score any
I
runs.
was with some friends at the Panthers game last night. So one was a Marlins fan, one's an Oakland A's fan, and of course they both bet their favorites. So it didn't work out so well for them. So here's the great thing about wagering. You can bet games in so many different ways.
Right.
And in this game here, I'm leaning under 7.5. So you got a pitcher going tonight, Pablo Lopez. So he faces off with Ryan Yarbrough. Lopez had an insane 2.56 ERA at home last year. That's really good. In fact, he gave up just a 184 batting average to righties at home. So he'll face five lefties and 4 righties tonight. I think he's going to do just fine. And then Yarbrough for Tampa, he's a versatile pitcher. He starts sometimes, and in this game, he's going to start. Sometimes he comes out of the bullpen, but I expect him to only pitch 2 to 3 innings, and they move on to the next guy. He's 0-1 in his career against Miami in 3 starts, but only a 1.77 ERA in those 3 starts. So I just think the offenses are going to continue to struggle here, and I see a low-scoring pitching matchup just like we saw yesterday. Maybe not 1-0, but it can even be 4-3. So I think it's going to be something like 3-2. So I'm going to take the under 7.5 runs in this game.
I like that. Whatever the under was yesterday, I wish I had taken that instead of the Marlins on the money line. I would have done a little bit better for myself. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes you don't have to play the game; you can play the total,
right?
And it's an easier win. So same thing for basketball and even hockey. So I'm going to take a look at an NBA game here, and it's the Indiana-Charlotte game. And everyone thought when Ball went out injured here for Charlotte, they were a done team, but they're 24-23. They're well coached. They did lose to Brooklyn in their last game, but before that, they had won 4-5. The only loss was to Phoenix, who's real good. In fact, the only losses in March were to Portland, Denver, the Lakers. This was before LeBron got hurt, and the Clippers. So they're taking care of the average to bad teams, and they share the ball well. They hustle, and I just think this Indiana team knows they're dead. So I'm going to take the 4 points here in Charlotte. I think they're a live underdog at Indiana tonight.
I like it. Anything else we like?
Yeah, we're going to look at baseball, and we're going to look at a team total. So there's so many different ways to skin a cat in hockey and in baseball, and here is one of them. So the pitcher tonight for Seattle, his name is Yusa Kikuchi, and
what a name.
He is just not a real good pitcher. He's a left-hander out of Japan. I just don't think he's adjusted to Major League Baseball game very well. He can hit some high velocities, but some people fall in love with that, and they say, I can't go against a guy like that. But teams have absolutely crushed him so far in his career. He has a 5.39 career ERA in Major League Baseball, and last year he allowed the 24th highest average exit velocity on batted balls among Major League Baseball pitchers. So that's an important stat that a lot of people don't pay much attention to. And the Giants' offense, more than anything particular, they crushed left-handers last year. In 2020, they were 4th in the league batting average against lefties at .270. They were 4th in slugging percentage against lefties and 7th in Major League Baseball in batting average on the road. So they scored 4+ runs against the Mariners in all 4 matchups here. I think they're going to be angry. They lost. They blew a 7-0 lead last night. I think they'll come out of the gates quick here. I like the New York Giants team total over 3.5 runs.
You San Francisco Giants, you mean?
San Francisco, yeah, San Francisco. Thinking of football. So, I like the San Francisco Giants here. So then we're going to move to the NCAA. We're going to move to one of the semifinals tomorrow.
Ooh, nice.
And I like Baylor a lot. So here's my thinking in this game. And I've seen each of the last 10, 11 games with both teams. Houston can offensive rebound really well. That's their strength. They play good defense, but they're biggest problem is they can't shoot. They just are not a good shooting team. And I just don't think they're going to offensive rebound like they have against some of these lesser opponents against Baylor. Baylor will box out. They'll rebound. I think Baylor's going to get some open court, easy transition points here, and Baylor can shoot. I think all year, if you follow college basketball, it's clearly been Gonzaga and Baylor. Baylor, only thing that slowed them down was a 3-week hiatus because of COVID. So I'm going to lay the 5 here. I think time finally catches up with Houston. If you can't shoot, eventually you pay the piper. Give me Baylor -5 big over Houston.
Well said. Now, I'm going to be having withdrawals this weekend, Lee, because there's no UFC event, but we do have a Bellator event on Showtime. Is there anything you like there?
Okay, so I found a Bellator fight, and a lot of times the lines are just huge in Bellator, -500, -800, and I'm not going to play a big favorite like that. But in the 8th fight of the Bellator 255 card in the women's flyweight 125-pound division, you have a 26-year-old Colombian, Alejandra Azul Lara. She's facing off against 32-year-old Kana Watanabe of Japan. So Laura has already fought for the Bellator championship when she was only 23, and she had a split decision loss to the current division champ Juliana Velasquez. So Laura is an excellent grappler. Her stand-up improves with every fight I've seen. She also looks to be in the best shape of her life. Do you ever watch the face-offs at all?
I
the
do.
weigh-ins?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I want you to go type in Alejandra Lara versus Kana Watanabe, weigh-in face-off. She is downright beautiful. Also, she does this dance. I mean, this is where everyone's going to be rooting for her if you're a hot-blooded male. So I believe that she has a significant advantage on the ground. She's a little bit bigger. If you see, they weigh the same, but she's just, I think, stronger than her opponent. Her opponent has not fought this level of competition. I think she's going to wear her down. I think she's going to submit her, probably by a rear naked choke. That's my favorite hold in the 3rd round. And if you've ever seen Laura, anything with her and the word naked is well worth the price of admission. Her victory dance is a thing of beauty, and I can't wait to see it. I'd submit to her anytime. This time it will be Watanabe. We're going with – now listen to the wager now.
Okay.
So we're going to take a different wager.
Okay.
So follow along here. So we're going to – if you're a normal $100 bettor, you wager $100 on Laura. She's -170 to 175. Also, I want you to put a fifth of your wager. So if you're a $100 bettor, put $20 on this.
Okay.
If you're a $500 wager, is you're a normal play, you put $100 on it. We're going to take her at +565 to win by submission. She is not a knockout artist. She has decent ground and pound, but like I said, that rear naked choke, she really puts it on some other girls I've seen. And if she wins by submission at +565, and we bet it that way, it's like winning more than a double wager. So
I'll see you in Monaco next week if we win that one.
Right. But the Grand Prix's not there yet. The F1's not there. We want it all. But, yeah, we probably could afford it. We'd have to win like a 5-1 shot there on the regular bet. But I just think, as long as she wins the fight, we win. We win it. It's a nice win. If she wins by submission, it's like more than 2 times your normal wager.
That's fantastic. Hey, before I let you run, Lee Sterling here. Paramount Sports is his website. Lee, I want you to weigh in on the Foodie Friday topic for today. This was inspired by a Food Network tweet. If you have to eliminate one of these French fry shapes forever, do you eliminate classic, which you would compare to like a McDonald's fry? Do you eliminate classic, crinkle cut, curly, or waffle fry?
Curly.
Ooh, okay.
I just don't like curly fries. I don't, because I always dip in ketchup.
I'm a
ketchup
is that
guy.
one tougher to dip?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to grab it, and and sometimes it gets all over you. And I always get yelled at for having food all over, my shirt.
So do I.
ketchup.
I can't get through
Okay.
a meal without getting something on my shirt. It drives my wife crazy.
There and on the ground. So, and I haven't found one of those places that has those fries that are great. So, maybe someone can suggest a place that has the curly fries that are great.
I think the ones at
I haven't
Flanagan's
seen-
are good. I like the ones at
Nah,
Flanagan's. You
they're
don't like them?
okay.
Okay.
You're setting the bar low. You're setting it way too low.
Very passionate
the,
about
the
the
ribs.
about the
Now the
fries.
ribs are great.
Yes,
the ribs are great
yes.
there. I think their fish, is good. There's a bunch of burgers are good, but their curly fries, scale 1 to 10, about a 4.
Wow, okay. How about that? A strong statement to leave us. And everyone, you want to make sure you check out ParamountSports.com.
Oh, I will give you a suggestion.
Ooh, okay.
People want to do it at home. Even I can do this.
Sure.
Cut up a potato. Get baked potatoes and cut it up and put it in the air fryer.
Yeah, I need an air fryer, though.
Oh, they're not that expensive. Great.
Oh.
I mean, I am totally inept in the kitchen.
Okay.
But if my wife goes out of town for a weekend, even I can do that. Put it in for about 15 minutes. Incredible.
I like it. I'll have to check. I do want an air fryer because it's one of those things, Lee. I've been up sometimes, insomnia at like 2 a.m. The air fryer infomercial is on, and it's like, God, I got to get one of those.
They are even better than they make them out to be. And I cook a lot of stuff. I'll cook fish in there. I cook steak in there. I mean, who wants to fire up the grill? Sometimes even late at night.
Right.
I cook. I make the chicken strips. Put them in there. They're great.
Okay. Good hot
All
tip.
right.
And that's the kind of stuff. I'm not even sure if you can get air fryer tips at ParamountSports.com.
There you go.
You can get everything else. You get
I can't give you many other cooking tips, but that's about it.
And make sure you follow Lee on Twitter at Paramount Sports. Lee Sterling, thank you so much, and good luck this weekend.
All right, you too.
I love it. That was awesome. 4 o'clock hour is coming up next here on Onside Radio. I want to play some audio. I think I may have overreacted a little bit too much to opening day. Thank God I didn't call this host in Cleveland. He would have ripped me a new one, man. Hey, Saturdays at 8 a.m., baseball fans can go deep into the count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase. Catch the show that talks Marlins and all the big stories in the major leagues every Saturday at 8 a.m. Seamheads have a new home. Listen to Deep Into the Count exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnSideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep. You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
Misfits Gaming Group, a gaming organization that has teams in League of Legends, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Overwatch, and the Call of Duty League, have recently announced that they're partnering with Intel and creating a series of competitions with their academy, the Misfits Academy, to find talented people in the space of esports. Misfits Gaming, who does and Ben Spoont, made the announcement and confirmed by Esports Observer today, in which they said the academy will focus on key areas in the industry such as competitive gaming, content creation, graphic design, and video editing. Most notably about Misfits, they are part owned by the Miami Heat, and one of their most notable teams down here in South Florida are the Florida Mutineers, as they do have their home base in Orlando and in Miami.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 4 o'clock hour here, Man of the Match with Alex Donno. I am Alex Donno, and I'm with you for 2 more hours here on OnSideRadio.com. Welcome in to everybody tuning in, listening live. We are half hour away from talking with Omar Kelly from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. He always gets the YouTube chat and the text line going, man. I am really looking forward to getting Omar's take on San Francisco and whether or not they are smoke screening their interest in Mac Jones. I will laugh if they take Mac Jones at number 3. If they traded up 9 spots to get Mac, who may have been there anyway at number 12. By all means, bros. By all means, Shanahan, go up there and go get Mac Jones, when Trey Lance, to me, seems like actually the perfect player to fit into Shanahan's offense. So it would really surprise me if they went up all that way to get Mac Jones. So I want Omar's take on that. I want Omar's take on Kyle Pitts and on Najee Harris, because those seem to be a couple of players that he really, really loves. So at 4:30, tell your friends, tell your wives, tell your girlfriends, everybody that Omar Kelly is going to join us at 4:30. So you can listen to it live here on OnSideRadio.com. You can watch it live on the YouTube stream. Welcome into everybody who's stopped by on YouTube. Andy in Scotland, I think, was the first person in. He says he wishes he was in Miami. If you're still there, Andy, how cold is it in Scotland right now? It's like, and you may have to do a little conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit, because unfortunately, we Americans are kind of dumb. Like, you start throwing degrees Celsius at us, like, I don't know the conversion rate. I don't know what to do with that. We're like the only country in the world that uses this Fahrenheit system. But hey, in America, we do things different, damn it. Tony 2 times is in. Ray is in. Doug E. Fresh is in. Rosendo is in there. Rafa Miami. Jimmy Shore with the 48-inch waistline. He eats Taco Bell every day, he said. Bromar Smelly is in. How do you say this one? Kachow is in. Forgive me if I'm butchering your name, sir or madam. But thanks to everyone who's in live on the YouTube chat, and those who are texting us as well at 844-416-8123. Marla is always very active in the text line. We appreciate you very much. She says the championship game is going to be Houston versus Gonzaga. Well, for the sake of Lee Sterling's pick, let's hope Houston gets the door slammed in their faces this weekend, man. I'm trying to make some money here. I'm trying to make some money. Yeah, I know that our guy Alex Aguirre, who's going to be taking over for Tito in a moment, he's going to think that this is slander, this is blasphemy. But I said it on Twitter, and I mean it. The baseball season is not going to officially start for me until the Marlins score a run. I was a little bit annoyed yesterday. I had the Marlins on the money line. Friends, you have to remind yourself, when you lose, when you get shut out on opening day in baseball, you have to remind yourself it's one game out of 162. I'm glad I didn't overreact to one game and call a radio host like this guy. Now, I was a big fan of Hank Goldberg back in the day. I was scared to death to call Hank's show. Like, back before I ever thought about getting into this business and I was just a listener, I called the Mad Dog Jim Manditz's show a couple of times. May he rest in peace. I listened every day to Hank, but I was scared to death to call Hank, because if you said something Hank didn't like, he would hang up on your ass and he would rip you for like 5 minutes. I didn't want any part of that. I didn't want that. I'm a big fan of Mike Francesa, and it's not because I think Francesa is like the incredible radio host that some people made him out to be. It just really entertained me how seriously that guy took himself, right? I don't think there's anybody in sports radio history who was more unintentionally funny than Mike Francesa, because like half the time he was falling asleep, he wasn't even listening to his callers and stuff. And then there's this host in Cleveland who was hosting a post game Indians wrap up on Bally Sports, Cleveland, and he takes a phone call. You guys have to hear that. I love this rant. So So somebody is overreacting to one game for the Indians, and he lets them have it.
You can just simply pitch around Ramirez, keep walking him, don't give him anything to hit. The next guy, the good pitches down the middle, he won't swing at, but the ball's down around his ankles. He hits the shortstop into a double play. This has been going on for 2 years.
Right. I guess you missed a lot of the games that Reyes hit in the clutch last year, huh?
No.
Oh, yeah. You're an idiot. You're an idiot and you don't know baseball. No, you are an idiot. Listen, you're going to tell me you are judging. You don't know anything. You don't know squat, you stupid idiot. You're going to tell me you're going to make a judgment on the season after one game in 30-degree weather? That proves what an ignoramus you are. Get off our show.
Get off our show.
Fair weather idiot. All right, we're going to move on here.
Bruce Drennan is the name of that host. I am now a fan. I am now a fan of Bruce Drennan, who was hosting Drennan Live after that Indians game. And you ignoramus. That guy should go on Cameo. And, like, people should, like, pay him to make videos where he just insults you. Wouldn't that be great? Like if anyone wants to get a personalized message from Bruce Drennan, I would want him to yell at me and call me an ignoramus. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Outrage Radio, man, and that was actually like it wasn't even it was TV because I watched the clip of it and he's in. Maybe it's one of those things where it's a simulcast radio and TV, but he was wearing a suit. He's in like a TV studio. I mean, you guys can watch me as well streaming live, but. I'm not wearing a suit. I'm wearing an Inter jersey today. I don't. How many like. I've never worked like a corporate job. I've never been a stockbroker. I've never been like a regional manager or an assistant to the regional manager. For those of you, if anybody's listening, if you work like a day job where you have to dress really nice every day, how many suits do you own? What's the normal number of suits to own? Because if you have to wear a suit 5 days a week, do you have like 2 suits and you're just really often going to the dry cleaner? Do you have 5, 1 per day? Do you have 10? Like, what's the normal number of suits to own for people who actually wear suits for a living? Because for me, wearing a suit, it's a very occasional thing. I've done a handful of like TV play-by-play assignments. It's not a regular thing for me, but I've done some, so I've had to wear suits for that. You know, you've got your weddings and funerals, which happen on occasion. I wear suits for certain things like that, but I've never had to be a regular suit wearer for a job. Like if you have to wear a suit 5 days a week or maybe 4 days a week if they let you have casual Friday to let it ride and let it free a little bit. Like, what's the normal number of suits to own? Do you just own, like, a couple or one per every day of the week? Do you own, like, one for every day of the month? I would love to hear that, man. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Welcome Gus1388 into the chat. Oh, man, and Tony 2 times, he heard me give the plug to the Mad Dog, Jim Mandich. I used to call his show sometimes when I was in college. He says, miss the Mad Dog every day. I love that dude. He was awesome. You know, he helped me become even more of a Dolphins fan. And I've been a lifelong Dolphins fan, but when I used to listen to the Mad Dog, especially during football season and listening to him on the Dolphins broadcast on the radio, it just magnified the passion. Like the passion that I had for the Miami Dolphins just got absolutely magnified by that dude. Have you been following this Kevin Durant controversy? So he sent some really ranting, raving DMs to Michael Rappaport, who got under his skin. And then Kevin Durant, like, my advice to KD has always been, stop self-destructing on social media. I mean, how many times has KD gotten himself in trouble for burner accounts and now for ranting and threatening somebody? And so So there are different schools of thought on KD, and I'm not, even though like we're allowed to curse a little bit on these shows because we're not on terrestrial radio. It's not really in my interest to like read the messages that KD wrote to Michael Rappaport. You can find them on some sports blogs, Kevin, like the messages that have gotten Kevin Durant in trouble, because there's some stuff in there that it comes off homophobic and sexist. So that's what has gotten Kevin Durant in some trouble, and he's apologized for it. But he really more apologized for like getting caught than for actually doing it. So some pretty nasty stuff he wrote to Michael Rappaport. Now, one of the things that I see people doing is, and this is not completely unfair, but it's a very nuanced topic. So there are a lot of people defending Kevin Durant's messages because, hey, this isn't something that he voluntarily put out in public. Like, he didn't tweet these things out from the timeline. So if people are offended by it, the argument is this wasn't something he intended to go public. He intended this as a private message for one person. That person then blew it up and made it public. So, in the eyes of many, you would say, hey, like, why are you making Kevin Durant apologize for something that was never meant for public consumption? And it's not fair to attack a guy for words that weren't supposed to get out there. I can understand that to an extent. There are still a couple of other issues with it. He actually physically threatened another human being, and which is technically illegal. Now, obviously, if this were ever to go to court, they would have to determine whether or not, like, it was actually a sincere threat of violence or not sincere. But, like, threatening violence and harm on another human being is not cool. And last I checked, it's technically against the law to do that. And then the other part of it is, okay, I get the argument that, hey, like, why go after this guy for comments that come off as, homophobic or sexist that weren't meant in public, they were meant in private. Why go after him for that? I do want to say that, like, I can understand why members of the gay community would be really upset by comments like what he made to Rappaport is. Like, if I walk a mile in their shoes for a second, it's got to be annoying as hell that, like, anytime, one heterosexual dude insults another heterosexual dude, they always have to accuse them of gay stuff as the insult. It's like, dude, that's got to get so freaking annoying. Like, if you're part of that community and, like, you want to change this culture, that why do you always have to degrade and insult, the way that I live my life by insulting each other, by basically using, gay things as this terrible insult? So, bro, I totally get it. Like, I totally get why, why people in the gay community would get so upset and so hurt and so tired of, having things like that get thrown out there as insult. Like, why is it that you have to insult another dude by throwing out, stuff that stuff from that lifestyle as a terrible insult every time? Like, I totally get it. So, yeah, listen, I understand that Kevin Durant didn't mean those things to go out public. He was sending them to one guy. But I can totally sympathize with why, members of the gay community would be so hurt by that, because, like, why do you have to insult him with that stuff? Like, why do you need to degrade him in that way? Like, why do you have to make that choice to insult him? So it's rough, man. And still, the bottom line here is, no, whether you think KD should have apologized or not apologized, we can all agree this guy routinely gets himself in trouble on social media. I mean, Alex, you would have thought that Kevin Durant would have learned by now, after getting in so much heat over the burner accounts, that, sending, really profane direct messages especially to a loose cannon like Michael Rappaport, because why would you not think Rappaport would send those out publicly? Because, that's not a dude that I would want to argue with, because he's always going to fight fire with fire. KD should know better.
Yeah, I think that's a bad combo to begin with. KD and Rappaport, like, no, those two people shouldn't even be like talking, even texting each other whatsoever. So that was bad from the jump, like, just them mixing messages and texting one another. But But KD, you're right. KD does have a history of just being, I guess, for lack of a better term, like an idiot on social media and just getting himself in situations that people with his platform and his stature should not be getting themselves into.
Yep. Amen. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. There's another layer now to something we talked about near the end of the show yesterday. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky had gotten himself criticized a ton for relaying reports about Justin Fields' work ethic. He got himself in a ton of hot water, was very negatively received. Kirk Herbstreit attacked him. He's now getting attacked by somebody else. So I want to give you the latest layer on that story when we return. Hey, Onside Radio understands gaming is a big part of the sports landscape, my friends. That's why every day we keep you updated with some of the latest gaming news with Onside Radio's E-Minute, hosted by Toast, Kai, and Michael Christian. If you miss it, it's podcasted daily. So search Onside Radio on all platforms, subscribe, rate, and review. OnsideRadio.com, the station gamers call home.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
The 25-year-old was reportedly arrested this past week near Vail, where a sheriff's deputy said he saw Camargo's car speeding and changing lanes erratically, which is always really smart. When you're carrying a lot of drugs, you want to speed, you want to swerve, you want to look like you're drunk and high and all that. You want to cause as much attention. You want to bring as much attention to you when you're carrying a load of drugs. That's just the tip for you, thieves out there, you drug dealers, you criminals. Bring all the attention possible to you while you're committing a crime. It's really, really smart.
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnsideRadio.com.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwork here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m. only on OnsideRadio.com.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
This comment from Jimmy Shore in the chat just makes me laugh because I don't know. Like, I'm assuming this is not completely sincere, that it's tongue in cheek. I don't know. Maybe it is sincere, but he says, "I don't like hockey. I've tried, but it is a Canadian thing." And you know what? The Canadians are in the mud this year. You got all these Canadian fans, all those teams. There's 7 teams from Canada, in Canada, and yet the top 2 teams in the National Hockey League right now are in the state of Florida. Canada, humiliated. Cold weather cities like Boston, Detroit, Minneapolis, New York, Buffalo, they're all humiliated because 2 teams from Florida sit atop the National Hockey League. Hockey, to me, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's not part of the culture down here. I mean, and obviously I know that there are hardcore hockey fans who listen. So I am a hardcore hockey fan. So I'm not demeaning some of you listening who you're like, "Hey, Donno, I grew up in South Florida. I love hockey." What do you mean it's not part of the culture? Mainstream wise, it's not. I mean, we don't have ice here. It's not something that we grow, like people from the north grow up playing pond hockey. Their neighborhood pond freezes every winter and they play pond hockey. It's not something we can do down here. It's not part of the culture down here, for most people outside of those who happen to be hardcore hockey fans. So, it's not in our DNA the way it is for people in Minnesota and people in Canada. So, the Florida Panthers have to work a little bit harder for our appreciation and for our affection. But the team is doing really good things this year. And if they can start to show the South Florida audience that they can become a repeat perennial playoff team and make some runs in the playoffs, and God, if they win a Stanley Cup, forget about it. Everyone's on the bandwagon. I mean, I was 11 years old, 1996, when they made their run to the Stanley Cup final. They didn't even win the Stanley Cup that year, but they made a run to the Stanley Cup final. This entire area was captivated. Those of you who lived through it and were in the area in 1996, you remember and you can verify. Believe it or not, South Florida had hockey fever. I went to some games in the playoffs that year. My father took me to a couple of games. No, Siri, I'm not talking to you right now. Shut up. I don't know. Sometimes Siri thinks I'm talking to her in the middle of the show. Went to some games with my father that year. We were throwing the plastic rats on the ice. This was at the old Miami Arena. It was standing room only, completely full. Everyone going crazy for hockey in South Florida. That's what a run through the playoffs can do. If the Panthers can start equaling that sort of success again for the first time in a very long time, they are going to catch fire down here. And yeah, Omar Kelly is coming up in less than 10 minutes here on OnSideRadio.com. So we're going to talk some NFL with Omar Kelly. Justin Fields needs to be pretty grateful for some folks out there for really caping up for him. And I like Justin Fields a lot, by the way. I think that, I watched quite a bit of Ohio State. I thought he was, really awesome. Throughout, he played very well against Clemson. He was good throughout the college football playoff. If you're asking me, Justin Fields should probably be the second quarterback taken. Trevor Lawrence is a no-brainer. Zach Wilson is the flavor of the month, but I think he's got a higher bust potential. I don't know what to make of Mac Jones apparently being a potential top 3 pick. It stinks. It doesn't make sense to me. I really like Justin Fields, but a couple days ago, Dan Orlovsky from ESPN said on the Pat McAfee show that he has been told by some NFL executives that they question Fields' work ethic. Because he asked them the question, why is this guy sliding down draft boards? Like, why is it that right after the season ended, he was the consensus second pick, and now everybody has Zach Wilson ahead of him? Some people have even Mac Jones now ahead of him, or Trey Lance. Like, why has he been sliding down some of these draft boards? And he was told by NFL executives, this was his report, and I have no reason not to take his word for it at face value, that this is what he was told by NFL executives, that there are some question marks about Fields' work ethic. To me, Orlovsky, if that's what he was told, he's doing his job by reporting it. He's doing his goddamn job. I mean, this is what you do. When you are a reporter, you are told something by team executives. It's your job to relay that report. And then Kirk Herbstreit, who I think has an agenda because he's a former Ohio State quarterback, so he's going to cape up for the Ohio State quarterback, and he's going to trash Orlovsky for reporting that. And then Orlovsky, to be fair, did come out and say, you know what, because he got a very negative response and said, hey, I'm going to do some more digging. He talked to a couple of people who have coached Justin Fields. He spoke to one of his college coaches, one of the offensive coaches at Ohio State. He spoke to John Beck, who was coaching him throughout the draft process, and they had great things to say about his work ethic. They've got a vested interest, but they had great things to say about his work ethic, and Orlovsky relayed those counterpoints. So he's still getting trashed, Orlovsky. JT O'Sullivan, former NFL player, current quarterback expert. He gave an interview to the Sacramento Bee, and he stuck up for Justin Fields. Here's what he said. What I make of the criticism is that it's absolute bullshit, the way that it's framed and the way that it was shared, O'Sullivan said. So, again, I don't understand why people are attacking Orlovsky. If you want to attack the report and say I don't agree with it, fine. Why are you attacking Orlovsky for doing his job? And that's what I don't get. Like, if you want to say, no, that's wrong, I disagree with it, by all means. I don't understand why you're mad at Orlovsky for reporting it. Justin Fields is a grown man now. He's a professional. He's got an agent. He's about to get paid. We don't need to protect him like he's a college kid. If that's what Orlovsky was told by NFL executives, it's his job to share that. It's ridiculous. O'Sullivan continued. Now, that doesn't mean that teams aren't investigating what the truth is. And they absolutely are doing those things, having conversations with the equipment staff, having conversations with strength and conditioning, having conversations with teammates. Trust me. I've been through the process. I know they're finding ways to get as much information as possible. I just find it hard to believe from what I can see strictly from the surface with a totally incomplete analysis. To battle back after he got hit against Clemson and really, in my opinion, outplayed Trevor Lawrence on a national stage, to say that he doesn't want it or there's evidence of work ethic issues, that's a total crock, he said. I don't see evidence of that. If somebody's going to say that, they need to say where they're getting that information from, and that person needs to provide. So JT O'Sullivan doesn't understand how reporting works. They need to say where they're getting that information from, and that person needs to provide some evidence and context to back it up. Like, that's not how reporting works. Sources are not always, but sources are confidential. Now, if a source chooses to go on the record, that's something different, but off the record, sourcing happens all the time. Again, they're treating Justin Fields like he's a child. If you disagree with the report or if you have evidence to the contrary, fine. But I think it's ridiculous. And here I am caping up for Dan Orlovsky when I've trashed a lot of his opinions before. But these aren't opinions. This is something he was reporting. So I don't understand why you've got Kirk Herbstreit and now JT O'Sullivan, who seem to think it's Dan Orlovsky's job to either lie or to sugarcoat things. He's reporting information he was given. Now, the information might have been given with an agenda, but it's still his job to report it. Now, what I mean about the agenda is it's smokescreen season, friends. So, yeah, is it possible that these NFL executives, these anonymous NFL executives who were saying negative things about Justin Fields' work ethic, is it possible that they're doing that because they have a vested interest in him sliding to the team that they work for? Maybe, right? Misinformation, that sort of thing happens. That misinformation, reporters get used all the time. But that doesn't mean it's their job not to report things. Like, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But again, the focus to me is on the wrong thing. I think the focus from JT O'Sullivan and on Kirk Herbstreit, instead of trashing Dan Orlovsky, refute the information. Like, if you think that information is wrong, refute it. Tell me why Justin Fields, in your mind, has a great work ethic. I don't see why you have to trash Orlovsky for reporting it. All right, we're going to bring in Omar Kelly from the South Florida Sun Sentinel, talk some Dolphins with Omar when we come back. One of my favorite parts of the show every week, my friends. And also remember that Heat and NBA fans can catch Ira Winderman here exclusively at OnsideRadio.com with our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat reports. Catch Ira throughout the week at OnsideRadio.com and when news breaks. Basketball fans know Onside Radio is the place you get the insight you need.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Enter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com. Hey everybody, it's Good Greek Moving and Storage, and for over 2 decades, they've been entrusted to handle all of your moving and storage needs. And now, Good Greek is the official mover of Inter Miami CF. And if Inter Miami trusts the Good Greek, you should too. For the best move ever, whether it's across town or across the country, go to GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com for Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of your Inter Miami CF.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
The Miami Heat are back over the 500 mark with a win last night against the Golden State Warriors 116-109. The Heat had 6 players in double digits, led by Jimmy Butler with 22 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. Miami's back on the court tomorrow night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tip-off is at 8 at the AAA. The Florida Panthers have won 4 straight games after defeating the Detroit Red Wings last night in overtime 3-2. The Panthers remain at the top of the Central Division, tied with Tampa Bay. The Cats are back on the ice tomorrow night as they host the Columbus Blue Jackets. Puck drops at 7 at the BB&T Center. And in the MLB, the Miami Marlins look for their first win of the season tonight in Game 2 of the opening series against Tampa Bay Rays. Pablo Lopez will take the mound for the Fish. First pitch is scheduled for 7:05. With the Onside Sports Update, I'm Alex Aguirre, and coming up next is more of Man of the Match with Alex Donno, and Game Night with Michael Christian is right after at 6 p.m. You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Brace yourself. You might not hear what you want. You can always expect Omar to keep it real, whether you like it or not. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Sun Sentinel writer Omar Kelly. EJD is your one-stop shop, custom home builder, and general contractor for residential construction. Call them 305-433-4843. Find them on Facebook at EJD Construction. Here's Omar Kelly with your Miami Dolphins report segment.
You know, we always love talking to Omar Kelly on a Friday. We get that Friday honesty here on the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Omar, of course, a new daddy. How long has it been now, Omar? How old is your lovely daughter now?
1 month and 1 day.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations again to you and your wife. How is she sleeping any better these days? How are things going?
No, not really. We're still battling gas. We're still trying things. She still hates sleeping on her back. It's, the gas is the biggest issue. If we can fix the gas, they say infants have it until they're like 4 months. But you could just tell after she eats, her stomach's just doing backflips.
Yeah, my son had reflux. Yeah, and it lasted. I can't remember exactly when he had at one point it was almost overnight, but I think it was the first 8 or 9 months he had reflux. And so
8 or 9, yeah,
he was spitting up everything.
We were just at the doctor, and she was like, is it gas or is it reflux? Because if it's reflux, then we have to give them a serious medication, but you could tell because they're cranky after they spit up. So I was just like, I don't know. I can't speak to her, so I can't really.
That's very well said. Oh, man. So we have a lot to get into, man, Miami Dolphins-wise. But let me start, this is kind of Dolphins related because it involved a pick that they traded away. But there's so much chatter, Omar, with the San Francisco 49ers at number 3, where and this is the season where everybody lies and there are smoke screens.
Yes, it's lying season. Yes,
it is lying season, and so there's all this smoke about San Francisco wanting to spend their 3rd overall pick on Mac Jones. Are you buying that Mac Jones is going to be the 3rd overall pick?
This is why I enjoy talking to you, Donno, and I give you the straight, the real, the raw, especially on Friday, because then I disappear for the weekend, and, who heard it, and then I show up on Monday, and I'm, PC. But it is literally the biggest load of crap that I've ever heard during the draft season process. Like, literally, this is the biggest laughable thing. So you're telling me that you trade 3 first-round picks for a quarterback who's unathletic and is not to say that he's bad, because I really enjoyed watching him at the Senior Bowl. He did very well. Probably, I'd put him probably the 4th best Senior Bowl performance I've ever seen in terms of practice. I wish I would have seen him in the game, but yeah, he was right up there with Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott and Pat White. Imagine that. So I'm not going to sit there and say that he's a bad prospect, but here's the thing that bothers me about this whole Mac Jones buildup. A lot of times what you hear right now is fed by agents and agencies. Usually, and I hate to call them out, but I'm not even going to say names. The individuals repped by CAA, the media arms that get fed information by CAA that have clients attached to CAA, which, are you generally know where that stuff is coming from. And they put it out there as a smoke screen. And CAA, and I'll be honest with you, major agencies like CAA can generally tell you about 70% of what player is going where, even when they're not even when the player is not their client when it comes to first round picks. So wow. I'm not going to say that they don't have credit or power or influence. They represent GMs, they represent head coaches, they represent key players, they represent quarterbacks. So I'm not going to sit here and say they don't have super influence. But what I will tell you is their GM clients might allow their agent clients to use them, or their media clients might allow their agents' clients to use them so that it will benefit them. And, I do you a favor, you pay me back a little bit later. The stakes are just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And I have to believe that this Mac Jones thing, I'm sorry, but you could have stayed at 12. Maybe you got to worry about the Carolina Panthers. You could have stayed at 12. But here's the thing. If you really love the quarterback, let's say it's Justin Fields or let's say it's Trey Lance, and you just go to number 3, why the hell would you tell the world that if it was the real quarterback that you love?
Yes, thank you.
Knowing that, you want him? Okay, well, then I probably want to jump ahead of you to the Jets if I want him. You know what I'm saying? Why would you be telling the truth at this point?
Speaking of being used and information, the last couple days, a lot of people have been attacking Dan Orlovsky from ESPN for something that he said about Justin Fields. Now, I don't know. So, and maybe I can ask you, Omar, as a reporter.
I haven't seen what he said.
Okay, so here's what he
clarify
said. I'll give you the background. So a couple days ago, Dan Orlovsky was on the Pat McAfee show. And he was asked why he thinks, Justin Fields has, slid a little bit on a lot of draft boards, right? Because, a couple months ago, everybody thought, hey, Fields is going to be the second quarterback taken.
I didn't, but yes.
Well, but a lot of people did, right? And now people think he's going to be, depending on who you talk to. Go ahead.
Put a pin in that.
Okay.
There is a difference between the draft nicks and analysts.
Yeah.
And then the true evaluators. And in the season, the true evaluators, the Ozzie Newsomes, they generally don't go to college games. And they're generally not watching college games. And they're generally not going over film during the season because they're worried about the season. Then when you get to January and February where they can dive into it and start the process of evaluating the talent,
right.
The real information starts to trickle out to these so-called experts, and it's ultimately how you can differentiate who can evaluate and look at talent and tell you, yes, this is a stud. Because I can, and I'm not saying I'm great or anything, but I have been taught very well, and generally I could look at a guy and I could tell you the range. Like Tutu Atwell, when people were like, oh, he's going to be a third-day steal, I looked at him, watched him, and was like, yeah, he's gone in the second day.
Huh.
So if you think he's a third-day steal, I'll go get him in the second day. And generally, people will catch up like a month later. Now, I'm not saying that because I don't look at every prospect right away. Like, you got to make me look at a guy, especially if he's not a position of need or he's projected like a third-day guy. It takes me a while to get to them just because there's too many prospects. But Justin Fields, I looked at him back when he won against Clemson, and I was on Twitter telling people, yeah, he's not going to be a second quarterback taken. Like, he's not going to be that highly drafted because there's glaring flaws in his game that turn off NFL teams. Like the fact that he is a run-first quarterback and he looks to run. If his first read's not there, he's going to run. And yet they can show you as many clips as they want of him finding his second and third and fourth read, but that's not the norm. That's not his everyday. And, even Mac Jones, for instance, I don't feel like he's a first-round quarterback, primarily because, as I've learned, and I did learn this from the Tua process, and watching Tua go to the NFL, in that RPO offense, it is paint by numbers. And I did not understand this until last year. Somebody is going to be wide open. You just got to find the guy who is wide open because you have so much talent. Tua had 4 first-round picks as his wide receivers. Think about that.
Yeah.
And then 2 first-round running backs in his backfield. So, and that, I don't even know if he paid with O.J. Howard. I don't think he did.
I don't think so.
That's what Tua had to work with. So somebody on your team is going to be wide open. You just got to find him. And there's generally an either or and a dump off. So it's paint by numbers where it's not like you have to dissect the field or that there's a tremendous amount of great talent on defense. In a college game, let's see the ACC, you probably got to stay away from 2 guys on that team. You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
In the NFL, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you stay away, let's say you stay away from Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, you still got to mess with Eric Rowe. You still got to mess with Nick Needham. You still got to mess with Jerome Baker. Like, where's the weakness? Not to say that these are studs, but these are top-end college players except for Nick Needham.
Huh.
So you're not going to get the easy out. Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs are the closest you get to that in terms of somebody's open, but think about how many studs they got on their team. They got 2 stud running backs. They had 2 stud receivers. They got a Hall of Fame tight end. Everybody can't replicate that. So when it comes to the quarterbacks, particularly Tua and Mac Jones, when they run this RPO offense, it's not as easy for them to identify who's open. And just like Ryan Fitzpatrick was trying to show Tua all season, hey, your windows or your openings are not going to be glaringly obvious.
Right.
To you, this is covered. But to me, it's open. And you got to get to that to see that's open and put it into that tight window. Whereas his tight window was a wide-open Devonta Smith or a wide-open Jerry Jeudy or a wide-open Jalen Waddle. It's not going to be like that in the NFL.
Now, here's why Orlovsky was getting attacked. So he relayed a report. He said he was told by multiple NFL executives that they have questions about Justin Fields' work ethic. And then Orlovsky gets attacked for reporting that by Kirk Herbstreit, who is a former Ohio State quarterback, keeping up for Ohio State. But the thing is, and he's getting attacked by J.T. O'Sullivan and some other people. But
who's J.T. O'Sullivan?
He's a former NFL quarterback. He's a quarterback's coach now. But they're attacking Orlovsky, basically saying.
Yes.
You shouldn't throw that out there because you're probably getting used in smoke screens. But, Omar, as a reporter, if you get told something by NFL execs, is it your job to relay that as a reporter?
No.
Really?
No. And here's if I haven't done the legwork myself in terms of talking to people from Ohio State and getting that report, like there's a running back in this draft class where people are training him and they dog him, and I trust those people. I'm not going to name the running back, but this is a perfect example of it. I don't want anything to do with him because those are people that I have contact with, and they trust him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I'm still not going to share that with you,
okay? Because
it's really, truthfully, none of your business, and it could generally hurt the player, and unfortunately. And this is something where, I'll say this to you because you know how I am with you. Do I feel like Justin Fields is being hurt by 2 stigmas that get associated with, 1, his color, and 2, the school he's coming from? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there is literally no difference between him and Trey Lance. None. Both won a scramble first, both athletic, both got strong arms. One won and one played 1 season and won at a lower level. That's the difference. One won at a higher level, played multiple seasons. One won at a lower level, and it's same athlete, same arm, both black. But you know why one is getting bigged up and hyped up and another is not? I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. You don't. Maybe it is the work ethic, but Deshaun Haskins doesn't help Justin Fields,
right?
Because the knock on him was the work ethic and his focus wasn't right. But then again, it's the same thing that black quarterbacks have battled with for 2 decades, 2 if not 3 decades. Finally, we're the Peter Warricks and Anquan Boldens of the world aren't being moved to wide receiver or safety or running back, and they're actually going from playing high school quarterback to college quarterback, and then they're making it to the NFL as an NFL quarterback. But this has been a stigma. We're not smart enough. We're not disciplined enough. We don't work hard enough. We don't study well enough. We want to rely on our athleticism, and guys like Michael Vick don't help it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Well, Michael Vick admits that he was just out there winging it and wasn't studying and wasn't putting in the work, and Marcus Russell don't help it. But tell me how many white busts there are. Jake Blocker, Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert, Ryan, bro. But the thing is, people are so much more forgiving when it's a white quarterback because that's what they're supposed to look like, as opposed to, who are the great quarterbacks in the league right now? Majority of them, with the exception of Aaron Rodgers, are black.
It's true.
But the league is so uncomfortable with that, and Deshaun Watson doesn't help, that, they just fight against it so hard. And I really don't understand. I don't understand what it's about, but I know it's geared towards racism. But then again, I can't say that, and it's not fair because here's Trey Lance, a black quarterback, getting bigged up, and his warts are being overlooked when he has the exact same warts as Justin Fields.
We're already running late, but I want to ask you one more thing before I let you go. Do you think Najee Harris falls to 18, Omar? Because I want him at 18.
What's the first rule of Fight Club, Donno?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Najee Harris's Fight Club.
Oh, no.
I don't think I did a mock draft in the Sun Sentinel. If you look it up, Omar Kelly mock draft 2021, you can find it. I mocked Najee Harris to the Arizona Cardinals at 16, and it's a warning shot to everybody because I think if you think the Arizona Cardinals, which have an empty backfield, are going to look at their receivers, look at their offensive line, look at their quarterback, look at their defense, and pass off on Najee Harris at 16, you're delusional.
We need him to fall. Omar, I always thank you for the honesty. I thank you for everything you bring here with us on Fridays. Make sure you follow Omar at Omar Kelly on Twitter and check him out in the South Florida Sun Sentinel. This has been the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report. Thank you so much, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too, Don.
Love it. We'll wrap up the 4 o'clock hour when we come back. Busy 5 o'clock hour coming up, by the way. Frank Crivello is going to talk some soccer with us at 5. We'll talk some more football with Mark Moses at 5:20. Hey, Sundays, Onside Radio continues to provide you the kind of sports talk that South Florida fans desire. Every Sunday at 7 a.m., tune in to the Sunday Sports Drop with Jazz Santana. Catch Jazz every week as he takes your calls and discusses the biggest stories in sports. That's the Sunday Sports Drop, 7 to 9 a.m., exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
This has been the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. From additions to home remodeling, call Eric at 305-433-4843. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
And the top trait they're looking for in a partner is someone that can cook better than them.
Wow.
Yeah. How are you at cooking?
I'm okay. I cook
boy.
all my stuff.
What's your best dish? If I had to say, Marsh, this you're gonna eat in tonight with a girl.
Oh,
all right.
Well, if I'm cooking for a girl, then I'm not cooking.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwart here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., only on OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
Big O, Tito is not allowed in the Boom Boom Room. Never seen Smokey and the Bandit. Never seen Top Gun. What's the matter with these kids? Look at that. Now you can't hang out with Salma, Paige, Sophia. See, now you can't hang out with the ladies because you have not seen Top Gun.
Yeah, I would just hope that, like I said, the Boom Boom Room is sanitized. I would hope.
Well, I don't know, but did you hear about the 81-person orgy?
No.
What is wrong with you?
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger. He was a Captain and Ginger. Captain and Ginger. He was a Captain and Ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
5:20, we're going to talk some NFL with Mark Moses. At 5 o'clock, so in a couple minutes, we're going to talk some soccer with Frank Crivello from the Serie A Sit Down. I got to defend John Jones. You know, John Jones is asking for more money from the UFC to fight Francis Ngannou, and people are accusing Jones of being afraid to fight him because he's asking for more money. Anyone saying that does not understand how the fight game works. That's a mega fight. That is a once-in-a-lifetime type of fight for Jones and Francis. Both of them should be lobbying for as much money as they can possibly make. You cannot expect either of them to get like their regular contract value for a fight that big. The UFC needs that fight badly and is going to make so much money off that fight. John Jones is not afraid to fight. John Jones wants to be paid for what a fight that big is worth. Even Francis has stood up for him. He says, I believe that John Jones wants the fight, he told TMZ. I believe he wants it to happen because it's going to be a massive fight, a mega fight, basically one of the biggest. I mean, he's been around for so long, been the champ for a very long time. But I think this might be the biggest fight of his career. Same with me. So I think he wants to put something like this on his legacy, on his resume. So I truly believe he wants this fight to happen. I mean, Francis Ngannou is going to want to get paid more for this fight. John Jones is going to want to get paid more for this fight. And they both should, because this is going to be one of the biggest fights the UFC has ever put on. So do not think that John Jones is afraid to fight Ngannou just because he wants to get paid a massive payday, which is what this fight is worth, man. All right, we're going to talk some soccer with Frank Crivello. Well, I also want his take on the Foodie Friday topic for today. 5 o'clock hour is coming your way next. Hey, every Saturday at 11 a.m., soccer fans can connect with Austin Robillard and Red Card Radio. From the Premiership to the MLS, catch up with your favorite team, including our very own Inter Miami CF. Listen to Red Card Radio every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Austin Robillard exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the Radio.net app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Hey everybody, it's Good Greek Moving and Storage, and for over 2 decades, they've been entrusted to handle all of your moving and storage needs. And now, Good Greek is the official mover of Inter Miami CF. And if Inter Miami trusts the Good Greek, you should too. For the best move ever, whether it's across town or across the country, go to GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com, for Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of your Inter Miami CF.
Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports. And when news breaks, catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnsideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 5 o'clock hour of Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Oh, I'm Alex Donno here on OnsideRadio.com. Take you up until game night with Michael Christian, 6 to 7 o'clock here. The weekend will officially start when Michael signs off at 7 o'clock here on Friday. What's everybody drinking this weekend, by the way? You know, something I haven't. I may be getting a cocktail tonight. I'm going to be having a meeting of the minds and breaking bread after the show tonight with Dave Dwork, who I've been friends with for many years. He hosts Chirping the Cats Radio here on Saturdays at Onside Radio. We're going to meet up at a Quarter Deck restaurant. I'm probably going to have a cocktail tonight. Maybe I'll go with a beer because I don't want to get too tipsy this evening. So I don't know, man. What's everybody drinking this weekend? Is it a margarita weekend for you? You doing some wine? You doing some Long Islands? You knocking down some Biscayne Bay brews this weekend? You can hit us up on the YouTube chat. We go out to the guest line, bringing our very good friend Frank Crivello from the Serie A sit down. And I know that Frank, I'm sure, has a smile on his face because we're finally through the international break. And club football is going to resume this weekend. Good afternoon, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing really well. And you know how we do it. But before we get into some soccer talk, I want to get your take on the Foodie Friday conversation today. We went a little bit lazy today, Frank. We didn't come up with our own scenario. We went with something that went viral on Twitter this morning from Food Network. So Food Network, they ask, if you have to eliminate a French fry shape forever, out of these four, what do you say goodbye to? Classic, which I interpret to be like a McDonald's-style fry, classic, crinkle cut, curly, or waffle. Which of those four do you eliminate?
It's torture to get rid of any of them, really. But, you know, if you get rid of classic, you get rid of the McDonald's fries. That's just out of the question.
Yep.
I like the crinkle cut fry. My kids enjoy it too. You know, I have had curly fries that, and I'm just talking about frying these things. I've had curly fries that have come out. They're the only ones out of the four that have the most chance of not coming out crispy, especially if they are bunched. They can be very soft and feel like that they just got over oiled and they didn't get crispy enough. So, and it pains me to do it because the seasoned curly fries from the old Hardee's and Carl's Jr. were excellent. But
those are good.
That's the one I would part with because I think waffle fries are very good too. So, so curly is the one I would probably part with.
Your logic is good about how when they get bunched up. That makes a lot of sense. Out of those four, the one that I eliminated is crinkle, just because with them being a little bit thicker, oftentimes to me the ratio of the crispy outside versus the soft inside is just a little bit off on the crinkle. But yeah, you know, your logic makes sense because I think, Frank, there's a bigger margin for error with the curly fry. That when you get a great curly fry, they're elite. But if you go somewhere where they don't do justice to the curly, it's got the most bust potential, right? The risk reward is the ratio can be a little bit off, I think.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Love it. Frank Crivello from the Serie A sit down is with us, and by the way, he and his co-host Richard Carmen do a really awesome job. In fact, I had Frank and Richard with my co-host Jerry and I. We did a crossover event on Monday on a YouTube stream for the Calcio Connection, and then we've gone on the Serie A sit down before on Tuesday nights. These guys do a really good job streaming live. So just to kind of put a bow on the international break, Frank, I know that you and I we both really enjoy watching the Azzurri, the Italian national team, and they keep extending their unbeaten streak, which is nice, and the team has an excellent midfield, good defense, great goalkeeping. But I wanted to ask you, how much concern do you have with the Italian national team over the striker position? Because a guy like Ciro Immobile, who doesn't stop scoring at the club level with Lazio, and, Andrea Bellotti, who's a pretty complete player, but neither of them have really stepped up for whatever reason in the national team shirt. How much do you worry about Italy's ability to consistently score goals when the Euro comes around?
It definitely gives you some concern. Italy has a good problem here. They're winning a lot of games, and they're winning it without getting top performances from the striker position. Let's break down why. I think Ciro Immobile is getting a little bit better here and is starting to edge ahead. Richard and I talked about this on Tuesday night. We felt that after this international break, that Ciro Immobile has probably edged ever so slightly ahead of Andrea Bellotti for the striker position. I would still like to see him convert his chances. I mean, getting a penalty, and then in the Northern Ireland game, beating the goalkeeper at the near post. Really, a better goalkeeper would have dealt with that shot.
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty of it is that those goals count the same as any goals that you're going to see on a highlight reel. So, when Ciro Immobile, who has been struggling for form at his club at Lazio, can get a couple of international goals. I mean, any way he can get them is going to be good for his confidence. Andrea Bellotti scored a penalty, but he missed a great chance against, being played in by Leonardo Bonucci in the Bulgaria game. One that you would like a clinical striker to finish. So they're getting their chances. They're not necessarily taking them. And I've always argued, I said, I would like to see Francesco Caputo get the opportunity that these guys are getting. But the problem is Caputo can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Because I think functionally in the 4-3-3 system that Mancini likes to play, Caputo would be the best fit. He's used to his right-sided forward or winger being a bit more left-footed and wanting to cut in, the left-sided guy being right-footed and wanting to cut in, and he knows where to run and he knows where to position himself off of that. Immobile and Bellotti come from systems where there's two forwards, and when you're playing 75 to 80% of your football in those systems, and then you've got to come back and all of a sudden retrain and be a striker at a 4-3-3, it takes some adjusting. Which is why I would love to see Caputo get a shot at some point. But again, he can't stay healthy. And we really don't have anybody else that's Italian that's a striker that can functionally fit in that system.
Yeah, no, that's very well said. I want to move on to Serie A returning this weekend, Frank. We've got a few games I'm going to have my eye on. AC Milan is going to be home against Sampdoria. Sampdoria have been tricky at times. Milan's home form hasn't been great. This is probably a game that they should win. So the games I want to get your take on are that one, Torino against Juventus. We have the Turin derby, and for Juventus, it's been a pretty interesting couple of weeks here before the international break. They suffered that shock loss to Benevento. They're making headlines at the end of the international break. Now, these players are injured anyway, but we have the controversy of Weston McKennie, America's golden boy, hosting a party without guys wearing no masks during lockdown and getting caught. That was attended by Paulo Dybala and Artur. So these guys are suspended, even though they're not really healthy anyway. And we also have Inter taking on Bologna. So what are your angles on those three games? Do you think the three bigger sides all get W's there, or could there be some tricky matchups?
I think they're all tricky matchups for all three of these teams. Let's start with Milan at home against Sampdoria. they're going to be dealing with a SAMP team that has been respectable under Claudio Ranieri. They're in the top half of the table. They're intense. And they play a style that when they have the ball, they're just going to raid the penalty area with crosses. You have Antonio Candreva on the right-hand side. You have Jakob Jankto on the left-hand side. And then the fullbacks also go forward, and they like to get crosses in. And they've got forwards capable of scoring. Manolo Gabbiadini, Fabio Quagliarella in particular. Keita Balde could be a guy that could come in and really unbalance things for Milan, too, if called upon as a substitute. I don't see him on the injury list, so I'm assuming he's available. Milan's going to have to be wary of that in counterattacking situations. The two center backs are going to have to be alert. Right now, it's projected that it'll be Kjaer and Tomori up front, in defense together, which I think will be helpful for Milan to try to thwart what Sampdoria are going to do. And then you've got Ibrahimovic back. You've got Çalhanoğlu back, two guys who played very well for their national teams. You hope to see that translate now to their club team, at least for Milan's sake. To see if they can go on and get the win. So those would be the things that I'm looking for in that game. I think Milan are going to edge it, but I think they're going to be pushed. And I think it's going to be a 2-1 result for the Rossoneri. The Turin derby, Davide Nicola has Torino playing slightly better defensively than Giampaolo had them playing. And it's a derby. I mean, you throw form out the window, and Torino have their backs to the wall. They're trying to fight off relegation. They're only a point above safety, where Juve are obviously battling to remain in the top four. The issues that you mentioned with players being suspended or out or otherwise for violating team rules. And side note, it's great that they can put their foot down and suspend McKennie and Arthur and Dybala, but Ronaldo can go skiing and doesn't get in trouble.
That's
right?
a great point. And there's obviously, and this has followed Ronaldo everywhere he goes, there's always a double standard with that guy, always.
Yep, it's been going on too long, and quite frankly, as good a player as he is, I'll create the shock value for everybody. I can't wait till he's out of Serie A.
Thank you.
I think that the league will be better off without him personally. So. He did well to help, create some exposure, but let's move on. We're tired of seeing the double standards and pandering to one player where everybody else has to play under a different set of rules. The issue for Torino is, even with guys like Belotti and Sanabria up front, they have their issues scoring goals and creating goals. And if Juve's organized enough, they're going to be able to see this out. I think this is going to be tight. I think Juve wins at 2-0. It's going to be one where it's going to be 1-0 for an awful long time, and then Torino's going to be going for the equalizer, and I could see Juve getting that second goal really, really late. Bologna and Inter is a really interesting game. Bologna, for large stretches of the season, have underachieved relative to the talent that they have. But this is a front four, when you talk about their three attacking midfielders and their striker, that I think could give Inter a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Riccardo Orsolini's their creative player. He's their set piece guy. Nicola Sansoni and Roberto Soriano have popped up for goals, and they create. Musa Berro has been very successful scoring goals in this league, for Bologna and then Atalanta prior to that. They also have holding midfielders that have gotten a lot better. I'm a big fan of Matthias Svanberg in particular. So, I speak highly about Bologna, but then they're 11th, and it speaks to maybe the underachievement of their team. Inter going the other way, it's obviously going to be they're going to be doing everything off of Lukaku. You're going to have Hakimi bombing forward on the right, and I think he has a huge advantage over Mitchell Dykes. The left wing back, which has been a bit of a question mark, is at least being patched by Ivan Perisic for now. And Inter's midfield is slightly better, but I have seen Inter historically struggle with Sinisa Mihailovic managed teams.
Yeah, for sure.
It would not shock me if this came out as a draw. And if Pazzo Inter, as you're probably familiar with, rears her ugly head in this game tomorrow.
Well, yeah, and actually, like the part of it that is a little bit concerning to me is not only everything you bring up matchup-wise with Bologna, but Inter haven't played in so long, Frank, and I know that a lot of people thought, oh, hey, them getting the Sassuolo game postponed, people said, oh, that's a big advantage. I kind of look at it the other way. I mean, even without Handanovic and De Vrij, I actually would have played the Sassuolo game when scheduled, because Sassuolo would have been at the bigger disadvantage because they had just played a midweek makeup game against Torino, so I thought they would have been more tired. I still think Inter would have had enough horses to beat Sassuolo potentially, without Handanovic and De Vrij, and now in rescheduling that game for a week from yesterday, I think, or a week from Wednesday, that's only going to make things more congested for Inter, and now they haven't played a game in 3 weeks, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're a little bit rusty until, let's say, the second half, and maybe they're already a goal down by that point. So I think that's what concerns me, is how long it's been since they've actually played together. I think it might take them a while to get into rhythm.
And all of these guys played very prominently for their national teams. All of these guys that are slated to start. And I don't know if I didn't follow Argentina. I don't know if Lautaro
they didn't have South America postpone those games. So that's one good thing is Lautaro and Alexis Sanchez are rested, but all the European guys were called into duty.
I mean, Lukaku didn't play for Belgium against Belarus, so he should be reasonably rested. But Eriksen featured in all three of Denmark's games. Brozovic featured for Croatia. Barella was a substitute against Northern Ireland, but then played against Bulgaria. But these guys were in the national team camps for an extended period of time. And you always wonder about the fatigue level of these guys, especially playing 3 games on an international break.
Yeah, well said, and really good stuff here as always. Frank Crivello, you want to follow him on Twitter at FTC_21. Check him out and his co-host Richard Carmen on the Serie A sit-down on Tuesdays. They stream live. It's available on podcast replays as well, so check it out. Frank, thank you so much, and enjoy your weekend coming up.
Yep, happy Easter to you, Alex.
Happy Easter. Awesome stuff there. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk some NFL. And we're going to talk, I might do a little trash talk here because he's an Orlando City fan. Mark Moses, radio host, is going to join us when we come back. Mark does an awesome job. He's on like 10 different radio stations, 95.9 The Rocket, Sports Radio 1560, Spec Sports 360, and now he's going to be on Onside Radio with us next segment. Mark Moses joins us next here on the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can now watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio. Log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. Find out why Big O has a face for radio. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org.
and make a difference today.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Check this out. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
And our next guest is one of my favorite radio people. He is always doing his thing and grinding in Melbourne, Orlando, and Port St. Lucie. He's on, like, half the radio stations in Florida, and now he's getting some burn here on Onside Radio as well. You can hear Mark Moses on 95.9 The Rocket from 10 to 3 p.m., on Sports Radio 1560 from 3 to 6 p.m., and on Spec Sports 360. So he's always all around. Like, Mark, do you ever sleep? Do you have any hobbies, or are you just on air 24 hours a day?
My man, how you doing? Look, earlier today, I was practicing in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So, no, there's no time to sleep, my friend. What are you talking about?
And I should mention, he's also an 18-time Mortal Kombat arcade champion. And it's been a little while, so you can find it in the archives. But the last time we had Mark on, he broke down his Mortal Kombat prowess as well. So he is a man of many, many talents. And, you know, before we get into some NFL stuff, Mark, I got to talk a little trash here because the Major League Soccer season is starting up in a couple of weeks. Inter Miami is gearing up to give Orlando City hell this year. I mean, they split their 4 matchups last season. We got the rivalry going. I want to see this Sunshine State rivalry go through the roof this year. Are you ready for Inter Miami this year, Mark?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for the new season. Orlando City is going to start with Atlanta on April 17th with the opener. And you know this. Usually we start at the beginning of March, but because of the pandemic, I mean, we're going to try to get, fans in the stands, and maybe by late summer we can have a full stadium. And look, man, I've never been to see Inter Miami play before. So I've seen it on TV, but I'd be excited to see a match in person and come down there. And I'm wearing purple, by the way, but it'll be fun to come watch a game with you guys.
Well, and you know what? Just let us know. If you come down to one of the games down here, we'll have you in as a guest. We'll show you around the studios. We'll watch the game together, man. So that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm really, really hyped for that. I'm also, even though the NFL season is still a ways away, but this offseason stuff, it really captivates me, Mark. First thing I want to get your take on, the expansion to 17 games. Now, as a fan, I don't think there's anything not to love about that. Are you a little bit concerned about the idea that this is, more punishment the players have to take? How do you feel about 17 games?
Well, what's interesting is there's still only one bye week. Right. I thought you'd add a second one. And then the key is the players are going to get paid more, so you can't complain about that part either. I thought you would start Labor Day weekend like we used to when we were younger. But no, they're going to start the Thursday for the opener after Labor Day, and then that Sunday like normal. So then it kind of gets moved. And you and me talked about this on my show where, okay, then playoffs will start a week later in January, and then the Super Bowl's move for a week later after that. Hey, if I have a great team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, sure, I'll go beat some other team and win another game. But imagine if you're a Detroit Lions fan and you've already lost 13 games. Now we got to go another week and lose another game. That's where it's going to be hard with this stuff. But I got no problem with it, and I actually liked the 17 per conference to make the playoffs. I know they were bad teams, including my Bears, going 8-8, but I think it's exciting. More. We can't get enough of the NFL. I'm okay with 17, but let's not go to 20. Let's not get crazy here. So I'm okay right now.
Now, I don't know. If they do go to 20, like that could be decades away. But I do think, Mark, that in a few years they may try to expand that to 18. I kind of think that 17 is just a placeholder before they get to 18 in a few years. What do you think?
Okay, so So in theory, what did Washington football team go? They went 7-9.
Yeah.
So now what could happen? Going 7-10 and winning the division? What could happen after a while? I don't know. There's so many questions, and it's one of those things where we've got to see it happen first before we really can give our thoughts on this. Do the fans want more? Yeah, they do. The owners, the players, everyone want more, but I got to wait and see to really feel what this is going to do to the NFL.
Now, you mentioned your Chicago Bears. What do you make of the quarterback situation there, Mark? Because that was a team that I thought maybe would be aggressive for Russell Wilson. I thought he's not really available. So how you feeling at quarterback heading into 2021?
Okay, here's what's interesting. I think of Deshaun Watson for a minute, where even if you're a Dolphins fan, I think a lot of teams went after him. And then with all these legal issues that are coming on, and I really believe, hey, everyone's innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
But, I feel like right now, in the heat of the moment, the Bears, the Dolphins, other teams dodged a bullet by not trading the farm for Deshaun Watson. Because right now, we don't know what's going to happen to him, where he might be suspended for the year. Who even knows? So I feel like we're in a better spot right now. And then the Bears also did go for Russell Wilson. But honestly, if you're Seattle, that would have been the dumbest move possible, because what would you have gotten? You would have gotten Khalil Mack, who's past his prime. I'm sorry I have to say that. I know he's from Fort Pierce. I love the guy, but I would not want that contract. Then you're going to get, the 20th pick, and then Wilson will probably be good, so you'll get 2 more picks in the 20s. So what would you be? You wouldn't have Russell Wilson, so you're pretty much the Bears. That you'd become the Seattle Bears after a while. So it's awful. So honestly, here's what I want to happen if I'm the Bears, and I know they're cursed, is, okay, Andy Dalton will start the season. You know he's going to go 3-1 and then get injured or throw 5 interceptions. Some horrible is going to happen.
Yep.
But, hey, if you have Dalton and then go draft a young quarterback, then I'm okay with this. I honestly had to break up with Mitch Trubisky like a bad girlfriend. I had to do it because I still was kind of pulling for him, but no mas. I couldn't do it anymore, Alex. I'm done. So here we go with the red rifle.
Now, elsewhere, here's a hot button quarterback topic, okay? And I've talked a lot over the last week about, the series of trades that the Dolphins pulled last week. But let me talk about it from the perspective of one of the other teams. San Francisco, they move up from number 12 to number 3. And in moving up into the top 5, it's pretty obvious they're doing that to get a quarterback, okay? And now a lot of the chatter has been, hey, Kyle Shanahan really likes Mac Jones for the 3rd overall pick. That's a little bit shocking to me, Mark, because, listen, I know Mac put up gigantic numbers with Bama last year. I just, as a pro prospect, I personally don't put him in the same conversation that I would put a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance or, Zach Wilson, who probably wouldn't be there at number 3. Neither will Trevor Lawrence. But I don't feel like Mac Jones is really the 3rd best player or even the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. Do you think San Francisco really might have moved up 9 spots to get Mac, who maybe would have been there at number 12 anyway? Or do you think this is some kind of a smokescreen or misinformation?
Okay, here's what's fascinating about this. And I know you've been talking about this all week, and we will continue this conversation till we get to that Thursday night on the 29th. Okay, the Jets showed their hand at number 2, because if the Niners really wanted their guy at 2, then the Jets would have been like, okay, we'll give you 2, give us this. But the Jets are saying, we want a quarterback at 2, and we know who we want. So the Niners must know that as well. So at 3, you're absolutely right. It must be the North Dakota State quarterback, or it must be Mac Jones, or maybe it's still Justin Fields. The smoke screen is Jimmy G.
Yes.
They say, hey, we're going to keep him for now. But I could see a team, let's say you're New England or someone, hey, maybe they still trade for Jimmy G, and then they also get their quarterback at 3 with San Francisco. That's what's going to make – the draft doesn't start until at number 3. I agree with you. I think it's going to be Trevor Lawrence, then it's going to be the BYU quarterback, then the draft starts at 3. I think my gut just – and I have no insight. I think they take that North Dakota kid at 3. I just do. I don't think it's going to be Mac Jones. And I know if you're a Dolphins fan, it's going to make you vomit. But what have Alabama quarterbacks done in the NFL after a while? That's the problem.
Yeah.
He had all the – here's what's funny. I saw Mac Jones play in the 2020 New Year's Day Capital One Citrus Bowl in Orlando, where it was Alabama versus Michigan. Bama crushed him in that game. And what's crazy, in that football game, Mac Jones, he had 4 wide receivers who became first-round picks from last year's draft and this year's draft. 4 of them. That isn't. You can't even do that in Madden. So we'll find out. But it's going to start at number 3, buddy.
Yeah, fair. What would you do if you were the Miami Dolphins, and if things shape out the way that General Manager Chris Grier wants it to play out? He would love nothing more than 4 quarterbacks to go off the board, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then obviously at number 5, Cincinnati, they're not taking a quarterback because they have Joe Burrow, but they'll probably draft Penei Sewell. But I know that there's some talk about Jamar Chase because of the connection with Burrow, so I guess that's a possibility. But there is a chance that at number 6 overall, Chase and Kyle Pitts and Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith would all be on the board at number 4. If you're the Dolphins, who do you like most out of that bunch?
Okay, here's what you need to do. You have to take a step back. You got to breathe. And remember, the NFL is built in the trenches. O-line, D-line, quarterback. That's how you win. Don't ever forget that. I know, look, I get caught up as well with these names. But it's like seriously, the idea of you need to make sure you solidify the trenches first. And when you look at teams that go deep in the playoffs, I mean, you look at Tampa Bay, Green Bay, New England, even sometimes with Kansas City's roster, a lot of their players, the skill positions, are not taken high in the first round. They're not when you look at tight end, wide receiver, and running back. My thing is, if you have so many picks that you're going to use, okay, at 6, you know what? Just give me Kyle Pitts. Give me the gigantic tight end. Yeah, my thing is, and I know you've talked about this for a while, my thing is, okay, you have one tight end. Now you can have a luxury of having this other tight end from Florida. And I cover the Gators. I watched every single game. My concerns with him is he did not stay healthy the full season. He did not. There are times he can get banged up. You've got to have that concern with him. But when he is healthy and you have 3rd and 8, you can get him the ball and he's going to catch it. And the thing with the SEC, the best, I'm sorry to say this, best conference in college football.
I'm not arguing.
is kind of like every time Kyle Trask was in trouble, he would throw to Pitts over the middle. Everyone in the stadium knew Pitts was getting the ball. He'd be triple teamed, and he'd still get the ball. He's fantastic on 3rd down, and he's great in the red zone. He'd be great for Tua. If you're going to get a blanket for him, Kyle Pitts is your guy. Then at 18 or in the 2nd round as well, what you can do is, hey, at 18, get best player available or get the best wide receiver available. And then in the 2nd round, keep building the defense and help out Tua. Chris Grier is a smart man. Now he's got to do it. I say whatever happens, best player on offense at 6 to sell tickets. That's what I would do. But you don't have to go for the biggest, sexiest name. It's okay. You don't need to do that with every pick.
Really good stuff, man, as always. I always appreciate when Mark brings me on his show, and he just did a great job here with us. You can check out Mark Moses all over Melbourne, Orlando, and PSL, and, of course, all over the world on the internet. Mark Moses Show. He's on 95.9 The Rocket, on Sports Radio 1560, and on Spec Sports 360. And follow him on Twitter at Mark Moses Show. Mark, have a great weekend, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, and I told you what I was going to do real quick. I said I'm coming on your show, and I'm going to hype the Heat for 20 seconds.
Yes, do it.
Do
it.
You've won 3 in a row. You're now hunting for a top 4 seed right now. We got a month to go. It's working with Victor Oladipo and Bam. Look, you can take this Eastern Conference because if you look at Brooklyn, they're not healthy. They've not been healthy all year, and the other thing is Giannis dribbles and he travels on every play. You can do this. Go Heat Nation. It's not over. Get back to the final.
Mark is preaching the gospel. Thank you so much, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
I love it. Oh, man. And listen, I like it. I like it a lot. And I said it in the first hour. Pat Riley has built this team not for the regular season, not for the preseason, not for the regular season, not for, game 50. He's built this team for the playoffs. He has built this team to go against the grain. All Brooklyn cares about is, can we score 140 points? All Pat Riley cares about is, can we frustrate you defensively? Because we've got potentially 4 players in our lineup at any time who can guard 3 to 5 different positions each. Nightmare matchups, man. I love it. That was awesome. 844-416-8123. We continue till 6 o'clock tonight when we are going to hand it off to our pal Michael Christian a little bit later on. Oh, I know I got some more fun stuff to get to on this show. Oh, you know what? I want to get Alex Aguirre's take on our Foodie Friday topic when we come back. And also, he's got to convince me that the Marlins can win. Well, what time do they play, Alex? Is it a 7:10 first pitch?
7:05.
7:05?
Like around there.
Wow.
7:05, 7:10.
I'm glad you told me, otherwise I would have tuned in 5 minutes late.
with Bali, man, with their, because I noticed that the baseball feed, like the production and the basketball production for the Heat games, they're encountering some technical difficulties. At first, I noticed that with the Heat games, but after watching the Marlins game, I was like, yeah, they're having their own problems as well. But that was kind of expected.
Yeah, always when you're
growing
doing
pains.
something new, exactly. So we continue till 6 o'clock tonight. Hey, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., Sean Stanley hosts the Squared Circle Digest. Now wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. So tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide, OnSideRadio.com.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football, OnSideRadio.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces. Just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
She's kind of young, so I don't know. She may not be into Van Halen much. Let's see. Hey, Ruthie, good afternoon. Are you a Van Halen fan?
You know, I just had to Google Van Halen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just literally have it on my computer right now.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnSideRadio.com. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can stand, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the ocean solutions and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
The Miami Heat are back over the 500 mark with a win last night against the Golden State Warriors 116-109. The Heat had 6 players in double digits, led by Jimmy Butler with 22 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. Miami's back on the court tomorrow night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tip-off is at 8 at the AAA. The Florida Panthers have won 4 straight games after defeating the Detroit Red Wings last night in overtime 3-2. The Panthers remain at the top of the Central Division, tied with Tampa Bay. The Cats are back on the ice tomorrow night as they host the Columbus Blue Jackets. Puck drops at 7 at the BB&T Center. And in the MLB, the Miami Marlins look for their first win of the season tonight in Game 2 of the opening series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Pablo Lopez will take the mound for the Fish. First pitch is scheduled for 7:05. With your On-Site Sports update, I'm Alex Aguirre, and coming up next, it's more of Man of the Match with Alex Donno, and Game Night with Michael Christian is right after at 6 p.m. You are listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnSiteRadio.com.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
You know, it's gotten kind of ugly between the lawyers in the Deshaun Watson saga. You know, you got Rusty Hardin, who raised some eyebrows a couple of weeks ago when, like, part of his defense for Watson was basically saying, he had sex with one of his massage therapists, but it was consensual. So I'm like, oh, well, okay, yeah, that's great. It was consensual, but does he think it's normal, like, to sleep with somebody who he's hiring to massage him? But then on the other side, this Tony Busby, it comes off as a bit of an ambulance chaser, Busby. And the thing that doesn't look great for Tony Busby, who's representing all of the women who have accused Watson, is that he's not turning over information to the Houston Police Department. Why not? I mean, if criminal acts allegedly were committed here, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to facilitate a criminal investigation. That doesn't make any sense, and it sounds like it has to do with Busby having a problem with the police chief in Houston. So I don't know what to do with this, and obviously I don't know what really happened. You know, in these massage sessions, you know, we're letting the process play out. There are a number of reasons why Deshaun Watson doesn't look good here. There are a number of reasons why the two lawyers on both sides don't look very good here. One thing I would love to understand with Deshaun Watson is, why do you need this many massage therapists? So he's got 24 that have accused him of sexual assault. 21 lawsuits have officially been filed. Now, according to Deshaun's lawyer, he's got signed statements from 18 other women who said that they massaged him and he was nothing but a perfect gentleman. So if there are 42 therapists that we know about over the past few years, are there hundreds? Why does he need this many massage therapists, and why is he finding them on Instagram? And I don't think some of the defenders that he has here are helping his case. Like, one of the first massage therapists, quote unquote, who came out to defend him was the lovely Lala. I actually recommend a Twitter follow to the lovely Lala because she's going to post some nice provocative photos. at Lovely Lala, Laalaaa, is where you find her. And I noticed that up until a few days ago, she didn't even have massage therapist in her bio. I think she added it after the fact. She's an Instagram model who apparently Deshaun Watson at some point hired to massage him, and she came out and said he was nothing but a perfect gentleman. But like Alex, does this sound like she is a career professional massage therapist? Because last night the Lovely Lala tweeted out, I'm going to censor this a little bit, but she wrote a tweet, "I need my P word sucked like a crab leg," she tweeted out. And that's somebody defending Deshaun Watson. Like, I mean, does that sound like a professional massage therapist to you?
No. No. Absolutely not.
I mean, maybe that's somebody you'd want to spend some time with, but I don't know if if I need to get my knots out for game day, I don't know if that's the first person I would call. Maybe for other reasons. So, I mean, there's definitely there's a lot more we need to know about the things that allegedly happened here. I just don't know if the Lovely Lala, defending him is the best reference as a professional massage therapist, and the 18 others. Like, how many are there? Has he been quote unquote massaged by 200 different women in the last 3 years? Like, the Houston Texans physiotherapist wasn't good enough for him. This is so weird. NFL owners are going to vote on eliminating overtime in the preseason. Please. Why do we need overtime in preseason games? It's so end them in a tie. Who cares? Nobody cares about the score of a preseason game. Mercifully, end them in a tie. In fact, I feel like in a preseason game, if you're down by 7 and you score a touchdown as time expires, I would purposely miss the extra point, just so I would avoid heading into overtime. I mean, it's so dumb. Like in a sport where we're trying to minimize, contact. Well, why do you need overtime in the preseason? I guess maybe some of the coaches could say, we wouldn't mind having overtime because it would give us a chance to clear out our bench a little bit more and evaluate some guys who are on the fringe of making the roster. But overtime is not something you really plan for anyway. It's just a waste of time to have overtime in the preseason. Honestly, before I saw this headline today and I read about it on ProFootballTalk.com, I had forgotten that there even is overtime in the preseason. So I'm sure it's happened, but I can't remember the last time I watched a preseason game in overtime. I probably would have flipped the channel if a preseason game got to overtime, to be quite honest with you. Oh, man. I want to get Alex Aguirre's take. The Foodie Friday conversation for today. If you have to eliminate one French fry shape forever, do you eliminate classic, crinkle, curly, or waffle? What do you eliminate out of those 4?
Oh, man, you're putting me in a tough situation here. Like, I like them all. Like, run it by me again one more time.
Classic, which I think would be like a McDonald's fry would be considered classic.
Okay.
Crinkle cut, which are like the Nathan's ones that look like little accordions. Curly fries or waffle fries?
I'm going with crinkle.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, crinkle have got to go.
Crinkle's got to go. Yeah. I didn't have to think about that one too much. After hearing it again, giving it a couple seconds, I was like crinkle. Yeah.
Now, what's your go-to French fry dipping sauce? Because I like, if I can get a buffalo ranch, like where like there's like buffalo and ranch mixed together, and more places have that now. It's not like 10 years ago. It's like, oh, do you want ketchup or ketchup? Like, what are my choices here? Now you can get buffalo ranch and a lot. That's my go-to dipping sauce for fries. What do you go with?
Like there's like this like chipotle like sauce type of thing. Like
absolutely, yeah.
I like a little kick to it, not too spicy.
Yeah,
but has a little kick to it. So like a good chipotle sauce would be nice.
Chipotle sauce. I could put chipotle sauce on anything.
It's so good.
It is freaking good. Like the chipotle ranch. Where it's got a little creaminess to it.
Yeah. That's a good choice also. It can go with a hamburger. It goes with fry. Yeah.
A little chipotle aioli. Oh my God. I'm making myself so hungry. All right, we're going to do the crossover with Michael Christian when we come back before game night. Hey, over the last 30 years, South Florida fans have always been able to count on one radio show that gives you the brutal honesty you need. Orlando Alzagari and the Onside Zone, daily from noon to 3 p.m., exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnsideRadio.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
And welcome back into Man of the Match. Wrapping it up for the day in a few moments. Huge thanks to everyone who's joined us today. Omar Kelly was fantastic. We talked some Dolphins, but really, like, we touched on a lot of non-Dolphins things. We talked a little bit about reporting. We talked about smoke screens. We talked about Mac Jones. And we did talk a little Dolphins towards the end. So Omar was awesome. We always appreciate the Friday honesty that he provides for us, because he always gets a little loose and a little open on Fridays, which is great. Huge thanks to Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com for giving us his locks for the weekend. Lee was a perfect 6-0 last week. If I had only bet like quadruple the money on all of his picks, I'd probably be like on an island somewhere right now, or I'd be like in Vegas letting it ride, probably losing all of it. Like unless I listen to Lee again, you double down with Lee's picks. It's great. Mark Moses joined us earlier this hour. Frank Crivello from the Serie A Sit Down joined us earlier this hour, so thanks to everybody who hopped aboard. Man, I love how I always feel bad because we end up talking food every day and making everybody really hungry. So hopefully you guys and ladies listening are able to get some dinner pretty soon. But when I asked Alex Aguirre about his favorite dipping sauces for French fries, got people talking in the YouTube chat. Tony 2 Times says spicy ketchup. That's the only thing that Whataburger does well, he says. Sometimes I slander ketchup, but spicy ketchup, I don't mind it. There's a spot that I used to go to quite a bit in Pinecrest called Evo's, and they have like they like make their own ketchup, and they have spicy ketchup. It's really good. Chick-fil-A sauce. A couple people say I like dipping my fries in there. Mayo ketchup with garlic powder, says Tony 2 times. Yeah, that sounds really good. All right, we're going to bring in Michael Christian in. And, Michael, say it ain't so, man. I heard that that tonight is going to be your final show. So I'm sorry to hear that. You've done such an awesome, awesome job, my friend. So knock it out of the park tonight, sir. And I will certainly keep in touch. We're both part of the 5 Reasons Sports family as well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for always doing such an awesome crosstalk with me. I mean, I literally have heard you on the radio, even before you were on Onside, even before all of this, and, doing the crosstalk with you. I can tell you right now, and I wasn't going to share this until later, but I got nervous the first day we did it. So I was like,
I appreciate
that. I'm talking to Donno. Hold on. Let me make sure I sound good. Like, it's been a ton of fun. It's a dream come true. It's just, life gets crazy. Other things are going on. And so for now, this show's going to have to end. But I'm still doing the E-Report. That 1-minute update on the same cycle. I'm still going to be doing part of that. And hopefully when my life settles back down, I can jump back into this because I really do love doing it. And I love talking to you. I love talking to Alex. It's so much fun. So I really appreciate you being so easy and open with me because I can tell you I was super nervous the first time we spoke.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And you're always knocking it out of the park every day. And it's okay. I'm glad that today is your last show and not yesterday, because if it wasn't today, I couldn't ask you how you were feeling watching the Oladipo debut yesterday, Michael. And when he threw down that dunk in transition, you must have been fist pumping.
Yo, when he threw down that dunk, he was kind of like floating on air. It was just beautiful. Like, it felt like, this is going to be a simple dunk. But he was a lot higher off the ground than you would have expected. And last night's game felt like his floor. Like, that's the worst Depot is going to play. And it still was such a good asset for this team defensively and offensively. So, listen, to me, the sky's the limit. I think this team can go a long way, even as currently constructed. And I'm just so excited to watch the ride and enjoy my Oladipo jersey when it does arrive.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know how long it's going to take? Because I know that sometimes these things get on back order. And which jersey did you order, by the way? Please tell me it wasn't vice versa.
No, I got the regular black Miami Heat jersey.
Nice.
It says Oladipo on the back and number 4. It should be here mid-April. I think they said something like April 16, which I'm just excited about because the last jersey I ordered myself was a Tua jersey, and that took, I think it was 10 months. So this is way better.
10 months? God.
Yeah, did you not get a Tua jersey?
I didn't get a Tua jersey. I'm so embarrassed. The newest Dolphins jersey that I have is from like 06, maybe 05 or 06. I've not bought a new Dolphins jersey in forever.
Oh man, listen, I ordered that one. But it took so long because I ordered the throwback. You gotta have the throwback. It's just prettier.
Yes.
So I ordered the throwback in April. I did not receive it until late November. So it wasn't 10 months. It was 7.
That's
still
a
long time.
And listen, I really appreciate the work you've done, man. I'm going to be enjoying your final show here tonight on game night. So what do you have planned, man?
Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have stuff I want to talk about, and it's just kind of scrambling in my head. I just came back into my house because I was locked out for the past 3 hours.
Whoa.
So my life is just total craziness right now.
God. Well, I'm glad hope you didn't have to call a locksmith or something. You didn't have a key under the doormat or anything?
No, I didn't, and I did have to call a locksmith, which is part of why it took so long. The one thing I know I have tonight is I'm going to talk Heat basketball right at that game last night. Oladipo, Adam Barais coming on. He's going to be my final guest. That should be a good time. In the middle, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to give my fair word of gaming talk or something. I don't know what it is, but dude, my life is a whirlwind right now.
Oh man, well I'm glad you were able to get back in. So huge thanks and a shout out to Michael Christian, who's done a really, really awesome job. And I'm going to miss game night. Michael, have a great show.
Appreciate it, man. I loved these talks, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. Hey, Onside Radio enters Kai's Corner with Kai Chen Chisholm every day from 10 a.m. to noon. Join Kai as he discusses the biggest stories in South Florida sports. Tune in every day from 10 a.m. to noon for Kai's Corner on the home for South Florida Sports Talk. We are OnsideRadio.com.
OnsideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
can you count, suckers?
Here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
Misfits Gaming Group, a gaming organization that has teams in League of Legends, Counter-Strike Global Offensive,
Overwatch, and the Call of Duty League have recently announced that they're partnering with Intel and creating a series of competitions with their academy, the Misfits Academy, to find talented people in the space of esports. Misfits Gaming, who does have their CEO in Ben Spunt, made the announcement and confirmed by Esports Observer today, in which they said the academy will focus on key areas in the industry such as competitive gaming, content creation, graphic design, and video editing. Most notably about Misfits, they are part owned by the Miami Heat, and one of their most notable teams down here in South Florida are the Florida Mutineers, as they do have their home base in Orlando and in Miami.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report.
Now streaming online.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Welcome to OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk.
This is like rock and roll with no music.
Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed.